out on yesterday because, of course, it was the Chinese broadcast. Yesterday, let's just take a quick recap because OMG and Sino Dragons, pretty straightforward. Sino Dragon have been doing very well.
Xiaopeng actually getting an 11-kill game, the highest for a jungler this entire split so far.
Yep. Sino Dragon 2-0, LGD and Suning. I mean, that one was close, and Suning still haven't impressed us, Clement.
Yeah, Suning were close to going on a 5-series losing streak, but at the end of Game 2, a 2v5 happened. We've seen it in the highlight plays where Maple and Xiao were able to drag it back from the grave and take back the series.
And for Suning, that was very important. They're still below playoff position at the moment, but they've finished their loss streak, Clement.
Really important, getting back to that 500. Our playoff race is a 8-team bracket, so they are looking forward into that position. On the other hand, today we're looking at the top side of it. FPX still undefeated in matches, and Royal Never Give Up hot after Chinese New Year's.
We're looking to solidify who will secure position in playoffs. Now, FPX, there are still too many scenarios to confirm just yet, but with RNG and FPX, our first one and match of the week, IG and V5 to follow later, still about solidifying those positions.
Like you said, FPX are still not guaranteed into playoffs, but if they keep their win streak alive, they should be by week 8. Absolutely highlight matches coming up.
But we start with RNG and FPX. Let's just get right into the thick of it because today is going to be absolutely sick. Even V5, a top 8 team realistically, as we place them in the standings earlier on. There's a bit of a hot streak from both of these teams.
Yeah, RNG, you might not find them that high in the standings, but they're a completely different team after Chinese New Year. Uzi is back in the lineup. MLXG has also announced that he will be sitting out the entirety of Spring Split, so Karsa is having all of the play time, and we're seeing the team really start to gel together. Karsa, best jungler so far in the LPL, and Xiao having a massive 2 weeks as well on Zoe. So they're up there 8-2, and you see in the rest of it, we're still missing IG a little bit, but FPX is right behind them.
RNG have just found their wings with Uzi back in the mix, and that's what a lot of us expected back home as well. But FPX, we have got a team that is just on the up and up, and you look at the mid lane, you look at the jungle, and you say, I'm starting to feel this team has a lot of momentum, but also a beautiful synergy going on.
We have to dissect why they're winning so much, and it really comes from the 1-2 punch of their new additions in Doinby and Tien. They are the best jungle mid roaming duo that we've seen in a long time. It's all about coordination from them, and what they're doing is that they're always getting out on the map first. Kills plus assists at 15, leading the entire league in their respective positions, and also having the highest first bloods in their respective positions at Wells. They're striking early, they're striking hard, they're super efficient, and this is what they do. They're basically like high school bullies in an after-school locker room. They just stick to you like gum on your shoe, and we've seen it happen so many times, especially in the top lane. They zone the enemy top laner out, they keep him under 20 CS for a 3-minute stretch, going up top lane 5 times in a row. We only cut 3 of these clips, but they went up there 5 times in a row to make sure that nothing could be done and they could play a 5v4 game for the rest of it.
And although the first clip is about 10, the second and third do be committing up there as well. So the synergy goes all across the map. It just doesn't revolve in the mid lane.
We asked Knight what his favorite aspect of Doinby's play was, and he said that Doinby was a push and shove mid laner. Once he gets the lanes going, he will look for some place to cash out on that mobility advantage. He's been picking a lot of bruisers to make sure that with the earlier stat boost you get from a bruiser champion against a mage, you can leave lane easier, and he's found it so easy to actually transfer that mobility lead into kills on the map. They've been doing this over and over again. This is the engine of FPX. The words for FPX are rising from the ashes. And this is the spark that they are doing.
And because Doinby plays such unique champions in the mid lane, he can do this. He plays it because he knows he's going to roam, he's going to get that push out, and FPX 10 is always there with him every step of the way. He's been a very unique jungler, and Doinby's been a very unique mid laner.
Yeah, exactly. This is a very strong 1-2 combo, and I think if you look at how you actually have to defeat that, you have to deal with them.
You have to deal with RNG. That's the game. Amazing J, Karsa, Xiao, Hu, Uzi, and Ming are your bottom lane. We talked heavily about FPX. Let us introduce you to them. Gimgoon in the top lane. Tien, Doinby, the jungle mid duo. LWX and Crisp, who have high praise as well.
I think the key player for this matchup has to be Karsa. I mean, Karsa, we talked about him. He only trails the amount of kills and assists at 15 minutes compared to Tien by 0.1. So very close in that category. And he's also been so good at shutting down enemy mid laners. This is his forte when it went all the way back in Flash Wolves, shutting down guys like Faker, shutting down guys like Rookie that they did in the finals. So it's really a test. Can he shut down Doinby as well in this matchup?
It's super hard as well because Doinby's not always in the mid lane. You have to find him somewhere else in another lane. So if you find him at a point where he is behind, where he's quite conservative and reserved in the lane, well then you go, wow, thank you, that's lucky timing. But chances are Tien will always be there.
Yeah, Tien has just been following along all this time. And I really think Tien is one of the biggest surprises we've had this split so far. He was previously on Suning. He was a duo with Knight coming from YM, but actually was not played that much on Suning at all. So there was not a lot of high expectations for him. But finding Doinby and finding that synergy has been probably one of the, I would call him the most improved player from previous splits.
When you put him in the spotlight, especially, someone can either fail or they can succeed. And Tien's been someone who's definitely succeeded. But Karsa feeling confident going into this matchup. We'll get his thoughts on the matter. Thank you very much to Karsa. That was a fantastic interview. I like what he said at the start there, but to really summarize it for you as well, he was feeling confident about going in that he and Xiaohu would be able to shut down Doinby and silence them.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things he has to do. Karsa is a much more dual-focused jungler, I would say, compared to someone like Tien, who is much more about lane priority. What he does a lot is he shoves Doinby's lane out, and then he roams around with Doinby. He doesn't make it where it has to go down to a confrontation between the two junglers, while on the other hand, I think Karsa is much more confrontational.
Yep, let's see if he can shut it down. This is match of the week. And although you heard us talk a lot about Doinby and Tien, Xiaohu and Karsa, this is quite established by now. FPX have one split where they have been dominant. RNG came through the whole of 2018 with this duo, with MLXG in the mix, who has not played yet in spring. We'll find out in this first game how they prioritize here, because already Tien losing his champion in the Jarvan. You see the Alistar, which has been a high priority, which we'll mention a little bit later into game one.
Pretty interesting. Both of these teams are blue side focused squads. They like to have that first pick. And for Xiaohu, it has been the Zoe that has been leading the charge.
Yep.
Absolutely monster KDA on that champion, his best champion by far.
100%
but this
win
time
rate.
around, they're actually switching it up. Now, this is interesting because it's not really a champion that Amazing Jay can handle. And typically on blue sides, we don't see a Jay selection unless it is a very clear-cut flex pick for the team.
No, moving away from the priority pick, or rather the one they were thinking about. RNG, their bottom lane has been huge. Ming and Crisp have some of the best stats in the league, especially on that Alistar. But seeing as it's banned away, the next best here, which we've seen yesterday out of our series and the day before, is the Galio support.
Galio support, if Alistar is off the board, I think it's a top priority support, especially for someone like Ming. On FPX's side, this is a flex pick for them.
Yeah.
What they're known for is between their two Korean solo laners, they can trade the Urgot, the Jace, and also the Scion. So there's a lot of things
you gotta keep going.
I need to keep on going. I need to
Renekton.
keep on going. But they're going to swap out of that. So this is a change in the matchup for FPX. LWX, his favorite champion by far is the Kai'Sa, but he has not had a very good time historically against Uzi.
No,
so this is anchoring that laning phase with at least strong champions to boot.
To add to that as well, Uzi has always picked the Xayah as a response into Kai'Sa, and Uzi has not done well on that response. So two sides of the same coin, it feels like, with those 80 carries. We're still looking at the bottom lane, considering we saw the Varus actually as a higher priority than usual, but the Tahm Kench makes perfect sense to Crisp.
It's a very strong pushing lane. You can continuously use the poke from Varus and also the poke coming in from the Tahm Kench to shove in. And this is pretty much Christmas for RNG. Instant selections, instant locks, no hesitation between these two picks. Best champion for Xiaohu Lockdown, and a game winner for Uzi.
That's right.
RNG, they still go through a lot of late game team fights. They haven't really changed their win conditions that much from 2018. It is about the big 5v5, and they've selected the best possible marksman for that role.
It also shows in this pick ban as well, it is still about Uzi on this team, but it's also heavily about Xiaohu. The change in RNG, the small change rather, with the Zoe, with the Kai'Sa, it makes perfect sense. Also denying it away from LWX, but considering you already picked the Varus up, which is the biggest surprise already here in game one, you'll see it paired with the Ryze.
Ryze, great champion into Zoe. You can zone her out quite easily. And for FPX, it's all about the lane priority. That's what they're really thinking about. So bot lane, you know, they're going to have to change their tactics. They're not going to have as good as a team fight, but they can still do what they have done in the early game, which is getting Doinby into the fights earlier on, getting those first bloods, and getting that extra kills plus assists. We're seeing RNG really focus down on Tien. Now, Tien has had a handful of champions he's been really good at. The Aatrox, for him, has been 100% win rate, so you have to take that out of his hands.
I like this, though, Clement, because this is denying it away from Carson. This is one of his best picks, and briefly mentioned before we got into Champ Select that this is going to be a game about picks, because there are so many comforts from both FPX and RNG that stand out above the rest. This is not one of them, considering we're in 9.2 Rek'Sai, ladies and gentlemen. That is out of the blue.
This is pre-buff Rek'Sai, but he still does the same job. He's very good in that early levels where his burst damage is incredibly hard to negate. And it's still the same story with Lee Sin. Albeit a bit earlier, you can get that kill combo going with the Zoe. An RNG special coming out from Amazing J. Now, this is a champion that pretty much is unique to him in ADD, but it's very good against split-pushing, bruiser type of champion, so it will lock down like things from the Jax. So it's going to force Kim Goon to go on something that probably is not that
carry
aggressive.
Potential. Yeah, there is a lot of AP damage, though, when you look at the side of FPX. Clement, I'm curious as to whether we see that lethality Varus in the bottom lane, considering the matchup we have for FPX.
So this is a bit of a different take from FPX. They don't have the late game scaling potential from their bot side, so it's more about emphasizing how much they can get from it. They're going to push very heavily into the bot side, where typically we have seen FPX be more of a top side focused team. I think that's a big difference from them, and this time around it's going to be a little bit hard for Tien to really push these advantages. I don't think he's going to have a very good time early on against Karsa, against the Zoe matchup, and especially for the top lane, it's also a matchup that Poppy does shove in quite hard earlier on as well. So they're mainly betting on being able to snowball LWX for FPX.
But at least it makes sense here. The Lee Sin, the Rek'Sai, both of these teams have high bloodiness at 15 minutes in the game. We talk a lot about bloodiness in the LPL, and a lot of you out there think it's a bit of a meme, but honestly, there are teams that do play safer than others, that look around vision and keep it simple. But FPX and RNG aren't always the same. They had the mix here, though, Clement.
Mid-jungle is where it's at. Who's actually going to come out of that matchup? Both of them have really strong CC into kill combos. You got the execute coming in from Lee Sin, and pretty much the same thing with the true damage coming out from Rek'Sai. So it's a very volatile matchup in the mid lane. But however, both teams have different ways they can transition later into the game. I think for RNG, they're still holding onto that team fight trump card of Uzi on Kai'Sa. We've seen it at Rift Rivals. We've seen it in the finals against Invictus Gaming. It always pulls them ahead somehow. On the other hand, for FPX, I think they're looking at their late game plan and saying, you know what, we have the Vladimir in the top side.
You would be looking at both of these teams and asking, if you're a new viewer, okay, I get RNG, but why FPX? FPX are undefeated. On Monday, they defeated Invictus Gaming. Sunday, rather, unless I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. They beat IG. That is the true thing that matters. And RNG's home arena will see if they can stand the test of this new blood from FPX. In our match of the week, the debut, FPX RNG. Who will take the crown in this mini-series and look good going to playoffs? Even FPX in RNG's home arena. That's how well they've been performing.
Everyone wants to be on the side of a winner. And here in Beijing, we call it the cage match stadium. They have that chain link fence going all around the players.
Oh. Sorry, Clement, to interrupt. I see a Klepto Vladimir there from Gimgoon.
And so I actually really like that in the matchup. Typically, we see the decision being made between Phase Rush and the Kleptomancy. But this time he's saying, you know what, I'm going to have a hard time earlier game. Poppy's going to push me in. I might as well get a little bit more gold for that late game teamfight potential. So both teams, they have late game outs, but they're situated in different lanes.
On another note as well, LWX has gone for lethal tempo on the Varus, so we will see an on-hit Varus this game, which, I mean, still makes sense. Lethality might have been a bit of an overkill. see how that progresses, because Karsa is here in the bottom lane, Clement, and with the Rek'Sai press the attack. Remember, again, just a reminder, 9.2. We might see a bit of a scuttle contest if he starts moving towards the bottom lane more, because that's where Tien is right now.
It's kind of interesting pathing coming in from both sides of the junglers. They're both very well known for capitalizing on level 2 type of ganks, so I actually really like what Tien is doing here. He's reading what Karsa is known for. Karsa, he loves to go in for those level 2s, and Tien has basically been calling him out on that. He went a very inefficient route, but a very optimized route against the likes of Karsa, which is red straight to the bot side scuttle.
Means also Karsa has to waste time going towards that scuttle, then go back to his camps. So there's going to be a slight edge for Tien as he moves to blue buff, then straight over to the Wolves. Pretty even so far from both junglers, but top side priority back into the mid is what we're expecting, and that looks to be the case.
Yeah, so Karsa still has the chance to equalize on the scuttles in the top side. He does have he should have a good pushing lane in the top against Gimgoon as well. So right now we're seeing Tien kind of play on the more defensive end. For me, Rek'Sai is a champion that if you don't get early ganks going and use their burst damage, you're actually super inconsistent later on. I think Lee Sin is the much better champion post 6. The Dragon Rage is just, there's a lot more things you can do with that. So I like what Tien is doing. He's following Karsa around, shadowing it, and making sure that he doesn't have that impact pre-6.
But I mean, Karsa looks like he's shadowing him at the moment. That's a steal away from the Raptors, and even the red buff threatened here a little bit too. I think it was actually moved away from, or rather it was taken quickly by Tien.
Oh.
That's a Sleepy Trouble Bubble landing and a flash there from Doomby. Not what you want here.
Definitely not. That was quite a lucky roll from Xiao to get the slow from the itemizations.
Oh, it's not luck, Clement.
Yeah.
No.
That's just Zoe. That's just Zoe.
Yeah, that's just
You
Zoe.
can see Doinby definitely knew where Karsa was, but he still couldn't avoid that. Couldn't factor in the extra slow. And he has another Chilling Smite to actually repeat that same game plan. You can see Karsa hovering around like a shark that smells blood.
Yeah, super annoying as well. Karsa's still waiting for Tien, but Tien's already gotten the Krugs and backed away. Double longsword here on the Lee Sin, nice and early. So damage threat to respond to Karsa.
Here's the big play. Can Doinby actually avoid this?
I mean, the thing is, he's locked down Karsa, but the flash is there. Unburrow as well. Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but he's under the turret still. Chilling Smite. One more hit. Xiao Hu gets it. Karsa survives as well. Well executed dive in the 2v1.
In between the towers as well. That was really smart on Karsa to sniff out where Tien was going. He knew that he only had one camp in the Krugs, so the Lee Sin was not going to be around. And a super deep dive at 4 minutes to start the game
At
off.
a level 3 Rek'Sai Clement as well. Only one flash expended, so you have to look at Xiao Hu and say his burst of damage was enough. It was well executed. And with that first blood onto a Zoe, win rate looks pretty good on him already. That is the lead you need to start off this game against FPX.
Yeah, but Tien actually having a really good start here. He's chasing Xiao Hu away from the lane, so at least Doinby can have priority coming into this. Really good move by Tien. I really like this. Just wasting the enemy time, getting extra seconds on the back. Karsa, he knows he's on Rek'Sai. He needs to go super all in. Again, lucky from Xiao Hu. He does get another Chilling Smite. Great bubble through what potentially was a minion wave to finish that off.
It was so perfectly timed. Karsa, very active early on. I love how we talk so much about the 2v2 in the mid lane, and it's the moment where Doomby doesn't have his jungler nearby. Tien was basing. He eventually comes back and it's way too late. He does push Xiao Hu out, as you mentioned, and I want to take a note that Doomby's still okay in the CS game, but Tien is a little bit far ahead of the CS game himself.
I want to see if Chris can actually get this stun.
Great block there from Chris. He's flashing forward. They want to commit. The Devour's in. Shielded Duran still lands on, but Ming is going to go down. As Tien comes down, Uzi has no mana though, Clement, but Xiao Hu, level 5, lands onto LWX. The Trouble Bubble does not. Can they outplay? There's a heal on the Zoe. Annoyingly enough, Chris will drop as well. It's a 2-for-1. RNG coming up again.
Massive play coming in, and this is what we were talking about. Mid lane priority is going to decide this game. Karsa said it in the SOT, we can shut Doinby down, and then we'll be the first one to arrive in the side lanes.
Really good stuff here from RNG. The bottom side now influenced as well. Uzi picks up a kill, and Karsa with one of his own. We'll see how it came about, because FPX looked confident in getting Ming.
Yeah, there was no ignite here, so the heal does full damage, and Ming was able to actually still survive and dish out a second Q, taking Chris so low. So even though it was a great trade coming in from Tien, they spent way too much time on it, And unfortunately for them, the Rise was not in position. You can see the wards that TN placed on the map. Double controls into the enemy Raptors. However, that was not the path that Xiaohu took. Straight through River, cutting through all of that well-placed vision.
And this is so detrimental here for FPX so early on that you can see even the mid laner who doesn't pick up wards normally, Doomby has a control ward in this early on. And I like this from FPX. They're in a bit of a dangerous position. And they're making use of it with more vision.
However, FPX, even when they lose bot lane, they still have that topside win condition. That's over close to a 20 CS lead at this point, while also bringing Kleptomancy. So the gold lead has ballooned to quite uncontrollable deaths at this point. Poppy is supposed to get a little bit of push in the early side of the matchup, but obviously Karsa spent more time into the mid, and after a while, Poppy just doesn't have the damage to really threaten the Vladimir.
It gives Gimgoon a chance to kind of show how he's made of. We had some criticisms of Gimgoon coming into this. And Clement, I think you mentioned behind set that if there was going to be one weakness to FPX, it could be in that top lane.
FPX so far, they've only dropped 4 games this entire split. All 4 of the games, however, have featured Gimgoon being behind significantly. Can Doinby avoid this?
I mean, right now it's Doomby who could be falling behind. Karsa doesn't have the flash available, so safe after a quick rune prison.
I'm actually very surprised at how long these wards are lasting for Tien. The double control wards still into the jungle. Karsa not really doing the best job in clearing these out.
No, it means that Karsa can just roam free anyway, though, if we're talking about vision on the other side of RNG. That's a steal away from Blue. Tien leaves it, but now hitting level 6, where does he go?
Ooh, Amazing J is going to be a pretty difficult target to handle. The steadfast presence, extra MR, especially when low health.
Yep.
They're going to have to bring all 3 people in, but I'm more worried about the counteracting play because this is going to give RNG a 4-man potential into the bot side.
Yeah.
I think even if they make this play, it's not going to be worthwhile.
Super disjointed. FPX have walked over that same control ward twice now. I think it is Doomby who's just going to clean it out with the help of Tien, but Trouble Valve is going to land him from Xiaohu. Big amount of burst, just misses slightly. And Xiaohu, you can see with that blue buff 10 CS ahead too. It's going to be a big, big ask.
You can see the hesitation FPX has of making that play in towards the top side. It's a very difficult play, and they lose their bot lane completely. So at the end of it, they fall back. They say, you know what, we're going to take the losses in the bot side. We're just going to try and pressure this, but not actually go for the dive. It's way too risky for them right now.
Uzi on track to keep up his CS per minute. The only player to be sitting at 10 CS a minute. Like 10.4, actually.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It's particularly eye-opening to see a stat like that because of how fast these early games have really been across for these teams. There's a lot of action on RNG's side. Pre-15 minutes, they actually have one of the highest kills plus assists. So a lot of times Uzi is asked to come into the team fights, but he's still maintaining a monster of a CS score, just showing you the caliber of player he is.
Very true. Should also rectify that his per 80 carries. At the moment, he has the top CS at 15, or a minute rather. And right now, still on track with the Storm Razors just picked up. That is the first item of the game, not including the jungle item. So Uzi already having a good time on Kai'Sa. We're getting more of an influence of how this Galio goes in lane, rather than him joining the fight, which is coming up soon. Yeah,
the early ganks for RNG have been absolutely massive. You can see Uzi, even though he's on the Kai'Sa against the Varus, no problem whatsoever in the matchup. FPX, they still don't have eyes that this is being taken. Can't get Blue fighting.
Gimgoon's coming in, 700 health, can't be stolen away. Doesn't want to get collapsed on by Amazing J either, so the Rift Herald just give it over. 2 clean objectives here from RNG and FPX. If we talk about momentum, which is how they base their team, right now they do not have it on their side.
Yeah, FPX, remember their average kills plus assists in just their mid lane and jungle is close to 6.
Yeah.
Now this game around, 11 minutes in, they're no way near that number. So you can see the effect of Doinby getting that early gank, misfortune happening to him, with Xiaohu getting double slow item procs on the Spell Thieves. Very fortunate, but also very well played by the synergy between him and Karsa.
It shows that Karsa's done his homework. A lot of the time with Tien, we talk about his jungle pathing and how efficient it can be, also how abruptive it can be. Let's add another word into the mix. It's quite unexpected. But Karsa, a veteran jungler by now. I mean, we've brought over everyone from, you know, Flash Wolves and LMS at some point. Karsa, he's like, you know what? I was one of the first. It doesn't matter. And Karsa's been here for a while now. You can see the veterancy of this jungler, whereas Tien, you know, still on a brand new roster, has been showing that he has some himself, but it's a very different story when you go up against Karsa, who has been here now for his second year.
Karsa, bona fide individual talent. Tien working very well within the system that FPX has set up for him. I think that's the difference that these two junglers have in status right now.
Yeah.
Karsa, you're just sure that individually he's a great jungler to play around. And it's not only just the junglers that have came over from the LMS. You talk about the coaching staff. That's also the former coaches from AHQ and Flash Wolves on stage.
They
right
got nothing left, Clement.
Yeah, they got a chuckle handshaking each other. Definitely known each other for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of history there, especially now that we have Sword Art. And we got Maple over as well as of 2019. So it's good
to stay here.
Hopefully, well, it's been going well so far. For Karsa, it's been going well so far. Maybe for Suning. We'll take a look back at the respective game, though, because everything's slowed down. Gimgoon actually at 1,000 gold ahead of the respective laner, while Doomby, the same goes for Xiaohu.
Oof, if you just don't punish that Vladimir early, it becomes so difficult to deal with. And we've been seeing the resurgence of Vladimir into the meta, a large part because most of the AD carries are actually short range. They don't pack any crowd control. Very easy to come into a team fight and just blow them up. So I think that's going to be one thing that RNG have to absolutely look for. It's going to be up to Amazing J to really use that ultimate and stop the engage coming in from Gimgoon.
He's had to optimize first, straight into the adaptive helm. You see a proto belt picked up there for Gimgoon as well, feeling pretty good here as you were just mentioning, and almost 20 CS ahead of that Poppy. Still staying in the laning phase, and the beautiful part about a Vladimir is if you get a free laning phase, you take it, you keep it, much like a Gangplank, you just wait for your time to shine.
Oh, does he get it?
No, he does not. No. By 11 HP. Doomy got that by 11 HP.
Yeah, Doinby's feeling the burn at this point. Just the constant harass coming in from Karsa. Also stymieing the advantage they should have had in the bot lane as well.
I mean, at least Xiaohu is optimizing here with Chris caught out. Redemption going to come down as well. Uzi unclogged the frog. That was disgusting.
Where did Chris go? Just too slow on the fingers. Couldn't get the white gray shield to come up.
Yeah. That's super rough, considering now that another dragon is most likely going to be free. Doomby's roaming down. Tian's already here, but Rift Herald's going to get a charge, although maybe not optimized as well as it could be for RNG.
So RNG back to their old tricks. You know what? Top side is in the gutter. Let's just leave it be. Let's focus on the bot side. We have most of our carries here. They're just going to all in here and make sure that Varus can't get that mid-game teamfight power spike that the Varuses usually get with Blade of the Rune King.
Yeah, he's so far behind. Uzi has 2 kills over him, and LWX, not often we talk about a game where he can't roam free in the composition as FPX. This game, we're going to have a lot of other focus on the top and mid, but LWX is going to take some time to ramp up.
FPX, they're going to have to turn a new leaf right here. They've been playing so dominantly in their other games, average 6k gold up at 30 minutes. This time they're going to have to go for late game team fights. Let's watch this Chris play again. Definitely had ample opportunity to press that E, but just didn't think the damage would take him down.
He didn't even have the upgraded Q as well. Auto Q just took it away. The Captain Rain available once again. They found the bottom lane. FPX not having fun down here. Karsa even joins the fray. Spat back out while we look at the top side of the map, and Doomy's been flung away, but the Hemo Plague, Amazing J flashes. Is he dead? Gimgoon flashes anyway, and that'll be the kill going over to Vladimir.
So FPX, they at least finally get a trade in towards the top side. Gimgoon getting the kill, absolutely the best target selection for their part. Can they actually trade with this Uzi later on? That's the big question that's on our minds. It's going to be about the Vladimir versus the Kaisa in teamfights.
I mean, how do you get there first? You know that the Lee Sin is going to be crucial in these engages, and if Tien can't get onto Uzi, we've seen his Kaisa, we've seen it run free, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. So we'll see if that happens again, because he's been set up nicely. You saw a turret for turret trade across the map, but Amazing J caught out here doing Rift Scuttle.
Yeah, misses the extra Q and gets spotted out by Tien. He knows he's in deep trouble. There's a 3v1 coming on this side of the map.
Oi.
Per normal RNG standard, the only one that's going to be on the top side of the map is going to be the top laner himself. And he kind of misses out on that ultimate. Probably could have taken an extra target. Only gets Stormby in that situation. And unfortunately pays for the price for running RNG system, basically.
What I take out of that, Clement, is it's lovely to see a kick flash.
Yep.
You know, and it's something that's so easily done in competitive play, but not so easily done. You take the moments where you can get them, and Tien is doing exactly that this game, working towards that Black Cleaver, but nowhere near it at the moment with just the Phage. Trying to farm out that jungle and maybe get towards Doumbé a little bit more, because we have still lanes going on with reverse, with top and bottom and top, but still a place to go for Tien.
And you can see the different philosophies between the two sides. Even though RNG have lane swapped with a winning lane, they're not actually pushing it that hard. That's actually the dangerous side for them.
Yep.
They don't have their mid turret, so they're actually splitting their members a little bit. Now, what I actually would like to see from RNG is once they figure out FPX's positioning, they should collapse on that mid lane.
That's not good for Doumbé. Knock up, everybody's in, and Doumbé is out. See you later, mid laner gone, and RNG, the tempo's back.
I love that play from RNG. What they did so well is they didn't try to push into the top side. They knew that Lee Sin was probably around here. Instead, once they figure out the position and the lane swap from FPX, they knew they were free to collapse first into mid.
Oh my, Xiaohu picking up flashes like it's nobody's business. Ming flashing in like it's nobody's business. And FPX have no business being here. Chains of Corruption will miss. Ming is golden, but Tien coming in. That's a teleport to hold the wave with Trouble Bubble on the Lee Sin. Look at Ming. His body has collapsed and disintegrated. FPX hold the turret, but can it withstand? This time, no. RNG will lose their support, but still a worthy trade.
Definitely a worthwhile sacrifice coming in from Ming. Great reaction times on the FX squad to dodge out on that as well. But in the end of the day, you're going to have to look at this and say the side lanes have been completely collapsed. And what that means is that Gimgoon should not be able to find extra farm going forward.
Yep.
He should be sticking very close to his towers. The ability for RNG to just throw CC at him, tag him with the W from the Kai'Sa and just follow up onto a side lane is too great at this point.
Having said that, though, the team that has the support with the highest control wards per minute is blind in that bottom river. We'll see how FPX almost lost everything.
Yeah, Chris this time around finally does find his E. Gets away just in time. LWX helping out on there. But you can see the reaction from RNG as well. Very good job at zoning out Gimgoon. That was a situation where Gimgoon, if he could find his spot, he was like going to be like a nuclear bomb going off in the back line of RNG. Did not make that happen. Amazing J spending the teleport. Very well spent.
Because we already know that Doumbé is going to be free firing anyway. If that other element gets in, which is Gimgoon, it is going to be so dangerous. And Colonel, my God, we do not want to go the rabbit hole that is KFC right now. It may be a beautiful one, but it's so difficult in this first match to predict. Doumbé will take this turret down, and not even the Colonel can predict what's going to happen next.
Good use of the minion waves. They actually had a lead coming out of that previous play, but this one is going to be very hard to replicate in the future. I think that's the point we're making, trying to make. You can see RNG, their map position. Once they get that minion wave past the river, they can go top side, they can go bot side, and a very clear clamp down onto Gimgoon. I'm pretty willing to say that Gimgoon's not going to get 250 CS. Probably not until 30 minutes.
Okay. He's 190 now. He's able to push out the wave, but RNG start closing in on those outer turrets. That's all of them broken down. Now a couple of deeper objectives that'll be harder to get to. But you just saw clamping down on that vision line. RNG start moving it towards the Baron. A lot more control wards out now as well for RNG. So they've reset, they've reprioritized. With the Mountain Drake coming up next as well, maybe we'll see that shift in the next 5 minutes.
It's a team fight that RNG have no reason not to take. They should have full map control. It's about how they actually start moving their pieces down into that quadrant of the map. FPX do have a chokehold here.
They do. But that was a close call there, as Gimgoon is actually going to be able to farm out. Now 200 CS. Clement, I'm catching you on the 250.
All right, all right.
He's got 203. He's gotten 10 in the last minute.
But it's very interesting what RNG is actually doing here. A very early Baron bait situation coming out.
Yep.
And we've actually seen RNG do this quite a few times with the Poppy pick. The idea is if you can just get the hammer down, knock two people away from the situation, then it's actually worth it to go for a risky Baron.
But Amazing J is bottom lane. They saw this. There were pings from FPX to challenge. But now that they see Amazing J with this smart, deep ward, they're going to back off again.
Really clear shot calling from FPX and RNG. I liked when teams are familiar enough with a specific champion pick that they actually change their in-game strategies to tailor to that.
Yep.
And that's what RNG has actually been doing quite a few times. They love their team fights in these areas. They're the best 5v5 team we have in the LPL.
Oh,
and
my lord. That was so dangerous from Chris. Thank you, cameraman. I mean, we assumed it anyway, but thank you very much.
He was tagged, but you do have that 0.5-second grace period.
Further to your point, Clement, as well, you're right. Best team fighting team. They're still the team fighting legends, as they used to call them. A nice little fake realm warp there from Doomby just to spot things out. So RNG still trying to find that fight. Crisp was the start there, but unable to lock him down. They just go back to square one, which is mid lane, which is holding around this Baron side. And you can see how angsty FPX are getting to be. They just want this mid turret, and they'll find themselves onto Ming. That's Doomby forcing him away. Turret goes down, and that's a trouble bubble. Chains of Corruption as well. Is this turning into a fight, or RNG just disengaging?
This is an insanely risky position from FPX. One more bubble lands.
They do find it onto Chris. Cleansed away. FPX cannot get caught here. They break the mid lane turret, but burn summoners to do so. It's still worth at this point to open up their map.
That was a super ballsy play coming in from FPX. They were a couple centimeters away from double bubbles landing and just the entire thing falling apart. I'm actually really surprised by that, but they were basically calling the bluff from RNG. RNG has been setting around this Baron and baiting for a 5v5 teamfight for so long. FPX are like, you know what, we're not going to play toward your game. You're going to walk towards us in the mid lane, at least draw them out of that Baron pit and alleviate the pressure.
You're hoping at this point that it continue to be alleviated though, because now everyone backing away, Tian, just to spot out this Baron. They have absolutely no vision with the control water in the Baron pit. And you see, they're even trying to get control over their own jungle, with the vision line starting at the Raptors and not going any further forward. But there's not as much priority here from Crisp. We don't see as much priority from control wards for the rest of the team. Doomby actually adding that into the mix, which is a surprising thing to say. So hopefully now with Baron still sitting there, FPX can get a little bit closer, considering RNG aren't to the mid lane just yet.
Do you see the Doimby special on his rise? The Righteous Glory coming out. One of the few mid laners.
See, Clement, you know, I gaze past that. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the same again. You know, no worries. But then I'm like, hang on, this is a Doimby special.
It is a Doimby special. There was a point in time where Righteous Glory, the pre-nerf Righteous Glory, a lot of rises went on that item, but now it's only down to Doimby.
It's going to be tense for this next fight. Doomby with 2 items, and 2 items pretty much across the board. Gold is still stable. 1,000 means nothing against a Vladimir Rise, but simultaneously you have a Zoe, a Kai'Sa. It's been building up for an RNG fight. I want to see it built up to an FPX-style fight. And I've been waiting for that for the past 10 minutes or so, but safety has been the name of these early games now for both RNG and FPX.
RNG, they have the scalings in their pocket. They're willing to wait for those big team fights. But for FPX, they want to get things going, and the way they're going to do that is how can they actually control the flanks. I think when a Lee Sin,
this is one of the flanks you were speaking about, and you were also speaking about Lee Sin. Tian just got caught and devoured up by Crisp.
But no Summoner's Burn still for FPX. I'm actually very surprised by how much control FPX has had in this bottom side lane. Frankly, they've just... no one from RNG has actually tried to pressure them super hard in that situation.
You're right as well. I mean, 230 CS on the Vladimir. This is starting up here for FPX, though. While the Dragon's been taken, Crisp burnt to a crisp. And almost gets devoured himself.
I gotta say, not my favorite play of the game so far.
Oh, my lord.
The teleport is still up there for Poppy. He can be in the fight, and FPX lose out on map control completely while also spending an extra teleport to potentially make that play. I feel like 25 minutes into the game, the jungler in the top lane can't take that mountain fast enough and still rotate toward the top side. So a bit of a head scratcher of a play for me. I felt like they were just trying to try their luck. They know they have the Realm Warp, so if things go wrong, the worst case scenario is we just drop chip out of it.
Yeah, that's right. So instead, you just give over another free elemental over to RNG, double Mountain Dragon. With the Kai'Sa, you know, you're just going to burn down that dragon. Sorry, Baron rather, very, very quickly in this game. But we're still alleviating a lot of the pressure from you, the audience. We're waiting for this one fight. And until then, you get to relax and watch the bit of the farming game, but a bit of the skill that's involved in both these top-tier teams.
To be honest, I actually... let's watch.
Hang on, hold that. No, audience, don't relax. We found the support. That's going to be the Galio. Ming, how long can he survive? Tian, right into the front of it as well. 4 members dead. Amazing J misses his ultimate as well. Uzi has to ult to the backside. Will he get out? The flash is there. The Killer Instinct saves the day. And Gibgoon looks for more. FPX there do find the big pick, but unfortunately it might not be enough to start that Baron.
And that's the power of Realm Warp. Doimby coming in with Righteous Glory, catching RNG off guard right there. But in the meantime, I think FPX can extend the fight the fight longer. They were in a gold deficit earlier on, and that's basically non-existent at that point. That's the most important factor about these catches going on from FPX's side. They have been very successful in erasing their deficits.
The only thing is you want to see a lot of that gold go over to Gimgoon, to Doomby, even LWX. Kills on the Lee Sin right now for Tien. Hopefully make him tankier. Has a black cleaver, and you want to see something that makes him as fast as Doomby, but also maybe supports the team. So we've seen a couple of redemption Lee Sins. We've seen Knight's Vow heavily used on the Lee Sin as well. We'll see what Tien builds next, or even if it comes to a next, because FPX still positioning to clear out some of this Baron vision and find a pick.
FPX are feeling confident. They already burned the flash from Uzi, so for the next team fight, Gimgoon has a clear path to go straight on that Kaisa. And it looks like they're very willing to push that summoner advantage into the team fights. I felt like RNG really did lose out on their chance to clamp down on the Vladimir.
Yeah, that's
they had
right.
full mid lane control, but the Vladimir already over 250 CS at this point. I felt like they made a lot of baits towards the Baron pick, like 2 or 3 times, but really let Gimgoon off the hook with the amount of map control.
Well, at least they're trying to recover it now, because this Baron has begun again. Realm warps in, but is anyone following it up? It's not Doomby. 3K now. They have to get in. FPX have missed their window. It goes down to RNG, and Tien tries to take the fight, but he's dropped as well. They'll get Xiaohu. A pick for Baron. No way, Jose. FPX want to find more, but RNG have found their window and left outside of it.
FPX tried this once, but RNG with a better return punch, because Gimgoon didn't have his teleport. He already expended it in the previous fight. So RNG with a very clear read and a lapse of judgment coming in from FPX on that play.
RNG now with the Baron. They won't lose their mid turret either, trying to find FPX. That's Doomby, who's trying to chase up too, but not meant to be. LWX, oh, you are low. But still safety there from RNG.
Now, RNG don't have their main engage tool. Very difficult for them to find purchase in these mid-game team fights. They really are more about catching people out at this point in the game.
Yep.
They have the sonar coming in from the Rex side. Let's just watch this play again. Vladimir is still caught in the bottom half of the map. I think that's a clear play for him, for you to look at. And even though Tien does find the kill onto Xiaohu, he does need to give up his life for that.
A couple of seconds earlier, if Xiaohu flashed in, I have to say, I know Tien for a very good jungler, for a very mechanical jungler as well, and intellectual. That would have been a stolen Baron.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Xiaohu definitely held on to that. He knew his win conditions right there.
Yeah.
It's better to sacrifice your own life than risk the Baron.
Because otherwise that gold lead would have just shifted in a very negative way. Xiaohu's back in the mid lane as FPX are behind now by 1,000 gold again. Still doesn't mean too much as Chains of Corruption land. It's not Amazing J. Doomby, Righteous Glory's in. Redemption coming down as well. Amazing J all the way back out with the piercing arrow not landing. But FPX have the inner track into the mid lane. And that Realm Warp zones away RNG. But is it enough time to get this mid turret?
Tien is waiting for it. Can he find Xiaohu?
He finds Xiaohu. Sonic Wave's there. Where's the Resonating Strike? No Lee Syndrome. And FPX just turn away with Xiaohu finding the Trouble Bubble again. Sanguine Pool is down, Devour up from Chris. Uzi does force the flash out of the Tahm Kench. They're still chasing up, but with the Baron buff losing something here as Xiaohu flashes forward again. Trouble Bubble doesn't land. He doesn't want Doomby, he wants Crisp. That's
but
rough.
He still has the Righteous Glory to catch up. One more bubble. Can he do the trick?
He wants to find Chris, but Chris goes golden again. Here comes the Hero's Entrance. Caster in as well. They lose the support, and FPX might not win the fight, but Gimgoon all the way in. Great taunt there from Ming. We want a big Hemo play, but Gimgoon doesn't get it, or he only finds one. Xiaohu on the backside. Tien gets the snipe. Gimgoon's in again. Great game, Vladimir, and it is bloody as hell. Ask them how you want your steak, and Gimgoon will tell you, make sure it bleeds. That is the ace, and that is RNG getting cleaned up by FPX.
FPX coming in back from a 4v5. They get a triple kill back onto LWX, and Tien, the absolute hero, plays on the back line there. Xiaohu missed so many trouble bubbles right there. You do have to criticize. If a couple of those land, I felt like it would have been a much cleaner chase down from RNG. Expended a lot to get those going, but the last one over the wall didn't find someone. Tien punishes him super hard for that.
And it's just FPX on a whimsical play again. Now, Casa and Ming are coming up, so this cannot be the end. But FPX have the same dominance in this first game, and you look how loud Doomby was in that play. It just makes you think that FPX, they're creating their own dynasty. They're creating their own year in 2019. Let's look again.
Yep, Xiaohu goes in, doesn't actually get the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, does force Crisp out to use the stasis, and it looks at the Gimgoon, but they can't burst him down. I think that's the key issue right here, and the sustained damage, the bruisery nature of the Vladimir and the Rise really hold out in this extended fight. Great find from Tien. Also does knock up other members going back into their own team composition.
Gimgoon has taken notes off of Flandre. He doesn't like dying on the Vladimir, and he will not do it on our screens. 3 items now on the top laner of FPX. 3 items on the mid lane Rise, and he's gone for Rylai's again. And you can hear the audience. They want RNG to be in the driver's seat in this series. That starts with game 1, where one team fight is now the opening for FPX to seal the deal.
RNG at this point, they don't really have the front line to do it. Not even Amazing J at this point can really take the damage pouring in from LWX. A very good mix of AD and AP coming in from the enemy composition.
Yeah. LWX was so far behind, and he's caught right back up.
Righteous Glory once more.
Yeah, has FPX gone too far?
They
However,
have a 5v3.
flashes forward, they don't find it. Again, the Vladimir from Gimgoon. Sonic Wave onto Amazing J. Tien does take it, but knocked into the wall. The Realm Warp's there. Doing me the hero's entrance. They're in a choke. FPX love this. Gimgoon already finds one. The jungler goes down on the bottom side, but Xiaohu's still alive, and FPX are still alive. Amazing J takes it right to the face again. Can Uzi and Xiaohu turn it around? They can't! No. Gimgoon again! Give him all the kills, and FPX take that with pride, and they're stomping towards the base.
Straight quadra kill coming in from Gimgoon, so well played by Tien. He drew the entire front line for RNG into the river, cutting off Uzi, and a great find from LWX as well. Chains of Corruption, snagging Uzi in the position where he was at. It really forced all of the protective abilities onto that position, and FPX wiped the floor.
Against RNG, no doubt. Against IG, 2-1. But against RNG in game 1, they lead the charge, and in home arena of Beijing, they stand tall.
Gimgoon shows up big. LWX should have been the early game carry go-to potential for Tien. It was throttled by Karsa, but at the end of the game, it still doesn't matter. Gimgoon still gets to that big carry moment phase. The Vladimir getting a triple in one team fight, finishing off the game with another quadra.
When does the Phoenix truly rise? At the start of this year, one would argue that that was when the birth began. But it has been happening over and over. We've got quintuplets. We have more and more children by the hour, Clement. And FPX, let me tell you, I love kids. And I love the way this is going.
A massive statement game coming in from FPX. Taking out Invictus Gaming, RNG served up next. I have to criticize RNG a little bit for their game plan. I felt like they had the early map control. They had the mid down very, very early, both towers down, but they did not try to punish the side lanes. Gimgoon was given free reign in that bot side for so long, where I felt they could have punished him a little bit more. They could have thrown different looks. They could have had the Kaisa and the Galio go down and just snipe him out. Make sure that once his minion wave was across river, he could not farm anymore. But that wasn't the case. What RNG actually did throughout most of the mid game was consistently bait Baron.
Yeah.
They baited Baron once, twice, 3 times.
Double check your vision, contest vision. Not always a priority.
Yeah, I felt like FPX got away with murder on that game. The early game was not going well for them.
Yep.
It was complete tatters, but I felt RNG were a little bit too happy to sit on that Kaisa win condition and say, you know what, Kaisa's the best AD carry 3 items. We don't actually need to do anything here. Let's just bait Baron and drag the game out.
Uzi was in such a good position that game as well, and it's off countless picks there from Tien, from Doomby as well. Again, that mid lane 2v2.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't, so classy, it wasn't on the front of your screen all the time, it did eventually succeed.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think Karsa outplayed the early game, but with a pick like Rek'Sai, it's actually very hard to play in team fights. You don't have any innate tankiness. You're just there to check vision and maybe be ahead in tempo. That's how the Rek'Sai plays his game. You can see in the later game team fights, Lee Sin was far more impactful.
Add a note to this as well. If FPX are able to continue this on against RNG, if we see Game 2 or Game 3 and we see FPX succeed, their strength of schedule looks pretty good. TOP EDG, that's fine. But Sino Dragon, BLG, and Feature Gaming, right now feeling pretty good that FPX, even in this form, could be walking towards playoffs.
They're looking at that first and second seed. That's the most important positions for the playoffs. If you get that first and second, you go directly into semifinals. And that's what FPX are going after.
That's exactly right, but that is only game number 1. Game 2's coming up right after we look at Pen Pals and Uzi. And Double Lift. Take a look.
大师兄你好，新年快乐！今年是猪年，祝你诸事顺利。NA 66666。如果我们世界赛去了美国，你们会带我们去哪一家你经常去吃的餐厅呢？会推荐什么菜
If I had to pick one restaurant, maybe Japanese barbecue. There's a restaurant called Yazawa. It's really good.
Travis 猫猫 Roman 和我同时约你打双排，你会选谁？
100% I would choose Uzi.
我在拳头的 MMA 里已经 cos 了韦恩了，你觉得你欧晨麻辣香锅应该 cos 谁？
MLX, you should cosplay Fiddlesticks. I'll cosplay probably like a hot girl, like Sona or MF. That'd be interesting. I always wanted to try cross-dressing. Reckless is like he's like Olaf, the Viking dude.
韦恩这个版本又加强了，你觉得我的韦恩厉害还是你的厉害？
Ooh, that's hard. I think my Vayne is pretty sick. We'll have to find out. I want to play Vayne. I think playing Vayne against each other is actually too cocky because Vayne's lane is still terrible. So it's going to be too hard early game. What are your favorite games other than League of all time? So like top 3 games of all time?
其实我玩游戏玩的特别多，就玩的多的可能就是那个绝地求生吧，还有英雄联盟，对，就是其实什么游戏都有玩。
What do you play when you're not playing League, or do you just not play any other games?
其实是什么游戏都玩，对，然后平时可能绝地求生会玩的多一点。
What's your favorite food to eat?
最喜欢吃的应该是肉类的东西吧，就所有的瘦肉。
What's your favorite thing to do other than playing games?
最喜欢做的事情就还是打游戏吧，就自己平时休息的时候也非常喜欢玩游戏。
Oh, who do you think is like the cutest female League character?
最可爱吗？我觉得努努吧，因为不管是长相方面还是就是性能方面都还是比较的好玩的。
What was it like to play with Mata in Season 6? I'm actually specifically wondering if you guys fought a lot, or if it was just really chill.
S6跟玛塔搭档，感觉他是一个在对于团队帮助方面是特别强的一个人嘛，他可以带领一个队伍去进步，然后我们也算是朋友，因为平时可能也聊天比较少吧，因为语言不通，对，聊天比较少。
I wonder if you're friends with any other AD carries in LPL, or if it's just like this weird, too much respect thing.
好像也没有就是那种聊天特别多的吧，但是大家都互相还是会去，就是如果见面还是会去聊天一下，就互相开一下玩笑。
Oh, I also want to ask if you remember the time where I walked into your hotel room and you had your shirt off and you were watching TV in Season 2. Or maybe it was Season 3. But I walked into your room with Tabe. Back when it was, oh my god, it was like Royal Club Tabe. Cool, never mind, it's fine.
我不太记得了，但是因为到现在都自己比较怕热嘛，应该没穿衣服，没有穿 T 恤，应该这种情形出现的挺多的。
A very successful game for FPX. It may not have been clean, but rather competitive as all hell between RNG. They've secured game number 1, but it is still a battle to get the second one and the series against Royal Never Give Up. My name's Shaky Steric Sozipenko. This is Mr. Clement Chu, and welcome back to the best match you will see all week. But then again, you should know that. You've been to the LPL before. RNG had a game 1 that was in the early game was absolutely fantastic. A lot of small rotations there from Casa on the Rex side that influenced the bottom lane, and an early dive in the mid lane that really got Xiaohu ahead.
That's FPX in a nutshell. They are a Hydra with 3 heads. They shut down 2 of the heads in the bot side and Doinby in the mid lane, but 1 head was enough to carry them throughout that entire match. That head has to go to Gimgoon.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the gold lead that RNG had, it never exceeded 1,600 gold. And most of that was because Gimgoon was doing so well on the top side.
Right.
That's a really worrying sign for me. Like, if they can't hold on to the top side with Amazing J's champion pool, which there aren't a lot of champions, that's going to be a really big trouble.
To be fair, though, for Gimgoon as well, he played a lot of the team fights pretty cleanly. And when Vladimir gets to late game, when Vladimir gets the 3 items, you run or you kill him first. There is no in between.
He's all the damage you really need in that team fight. All the rest of the guys, Doinby, you can go Righteous Glory. It doesn't even matter. You know, LWX, just throw out your Chains of Corruptions. I will finish the fight myself. And I think that's the most worrying aspect here. If RNG want to play a 5v5 team fight, they need frontline presence.
Yep.
And in that game, Poppy was so far behind the curve that she couldn't hold up to any of the damage coming in from FPX in that moment, and that really collapsed the entire strategy for RNG.
And Amazing J, you mentioned his champion pool before and how it is reasonably small. If you've seen Amazing J before, you've seen some concerning games on Yorick, but you've seen some really good games on Sion.
Yeah, Sion is his best champion by far. His lane trading patterns have been a bit worrying, especially with the Urgot, and he's only running 3 champions after Chinese New Year. So once more, we're actually seeing FPX go into that strategy where they try to maximize their punishment on Amazing J.
Yep.
Very much like the old days of Let Me, still going on right now. Still the same G2 strategy where you just hope to get someone going in the top side.
Good.
Can Amazing J actually hold on to that with his champion pool and FPX on the red side?
You have to ask as well if there's an influence from Casa that needs to be graded as well, because the Rek'Sai early game presence, fantastic. But Casa, he got denied away from his Lee Sin. We're like, okay, what can happen in this late game? 9.2 Rek'Sai, so that ultimate isn't always hitting. Chances are, you all know how annoying Rek'Sai ultimate is in 9.2, so it was a surprising pick, but one that didn't influence past that 30-minute mark.
I still think it was successful for what it was, but the main reason RNG couldn't really surpass their early game was the way they played the mid game. The mid game for me was very suspect in the way they allocated their lanes. They had priority in mid. You have 2 towers down, a roaming Zoe. That should give you full priority in mid lane.
Sure.
They never transitioned that into shutting Gimgoon down. I made the prophecy that Gimgoon should not have 250 CS by 30 minutes. He was well over that mark. 270. He was winning the team fights already. And it's a bit disheartening to me to see RNG kind of still stumble on the same blocks that they stumbled previously when they were running a very monolithic composition with Uzi as their main damage source.
Yeah, that's right. Also, come back to, maybe Xiaohu on his Zoe. That was a really good early lead for him. And the reason I bring this up is because Xiaohu's Zoe now has a loss after 5 games. 100% win ratio, by the way. And Zoe in China is bonkers, if you haven't found out that fact. Like 80%. Xiaohu dropped it a little bit. But in all seriousness, for Xiaohu, had a very good early game as well. RNG did further to your point. And FPX now, they go back and they'll say, all right, cool, let's improve our early game, because TN's proximity to Doinby didn't feel as high in game 1.
Yeah, I think the cool bans for me coming out from FPX were actually the Lissandra ban, where they're saying, you know what, this has been Xiaohu's most played champion.
Also, Doinby's most played champion is a reverse as well.
So what they're saying is, hey, if we take away the frontline potential from RNG, their team fighting comp doesn't actually work that well.
True.
So we can give them the Zoe, we can give them early tempo leads in terms of the mid jungle 2v2, and we can still come out ahead and beat RNG at their own game when it goes later on. So it really throws a lot of wrenches into this drafting phase for RNG. They're suddenly looking at, hey, we've already technically we've checked our boxes on how we want to win the game and how we want to win the series in game 1, but it didn't work out. So I want to see if they go more all in for just putting more resources into Uzi, making sure that he can go on, maybe just take the
He was already so far ahead anyways.
Yeah, take the Xayah and make sure he actually has mid-game presence. It doesn't have to be on something that needs to sit back.
Here's the thing, though. If he picks up the Xayah, it hasn't been so successful in the past. You know, the Kai'Sa's still great on Uzi onto that note as well, but you're exactly right. The mid-game was the issue here for RNG. We can all agree on that. What we can agree on is that if FPX let loose in a fight, like really let loose, they're like a dog without a leash. They just go for it. Their chaotic style continues to impress.
That team fighting was so interesting because you rarely see mid laners as the main initiators. And that's what you get with Doinby. Doinby's not only the shot caller for the team, he also starts the majority of the fights. He's very item optimized in that role. Very unique type of mid laner. You don't see that much, and RNG was definitely caught off guard. There were so many times in the middle of the map, and suddenly Righteous Glory just pops from Ryze and they get caught out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it's like,
and you're like, oh my god, there's a Ryze. There's a Ryze with Righteous Glory coming right at me. Got Rylai's third as well.
Yeah.
And I think fourth item for him is always Leandri's.
He also faked a lot of those realm orbs. That was pretty smart on him. You basically sandwiched the RNG team composition. Like, they had 3-man mid a lot of the times, and send the realm orb back, walk forward with Righteous Glory, and you're just like, what do I do? If I go backwards, he's probably sending a Vladimir into my backline.
And then finally, after baiting it all, he just sent one where it was actually the team as well. Like 3 members of FPX were in that realm warp. That's how you truly bait.
Yeah, that's the thing about Doinby is very difficult to play against. A lot of times you don't expect that much utility coming out from a mid laner.
Yep.
You think, hey, they're just going to do a lot of damage in the team fights. They're going to zone people away. He's playing a control mage. Maybe that's his role. But Doinby flips the script. He plays in a super unique fashion. I honestly have not seen a single mid laner whose main role on the team is initiations.
Yeah. It's a unique style, but on top of that, I mean, it suits FPX so well.
It definitely does.
You know, FPX, they've had this winning streak for a large reason, and a lot of that reason goes onto the back of Doinby and to Tian. So to further that point as well, in this upcoming game, FPX are on the red side. See a very similar composition for them.
I definitely expect them to throw the same strategy. They've shown that they can get away with anything in the top lane pretty much. So they're just going to make sure they have a strong team fight solution in the top side, something that's not going to get punished that hard. What I do expect of the drafting from RNG's side is actually to get a jungler that can hopefully get them a little bit more utility.
Yeah, okay.
I think Karsa doesn't need to all in on something like Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai still a very risky pick in 9.2. If you don't have that massive lead earlier on, it doesn't really give you a lot of outs in the later phases of the game, so they can go for something that I would say a little bit more stock standard. I think the Jarvan's a great pick, and just relying on that solo potential to carry you over Tien. I don't think you necessarily need a Rek'Sai to get that same effect.
In Game 1, Jarvan was banned away by RNG as well, so this time maybe leaving it open, prioritizing towards Tian's champion pool, and that's how much of a threat he is to RNG. FPX showed that Game 1, and in Game 2, RNG, it deserves a ban again.
Rough time for RNG. I think FPX's ban phase has been working out very well for them. I truly expect the Lissandra to go down as well. For RNG, I want to see if they actually go for the Alistar. Now, interesting thing between both of these support in Chris and Ming is that Alistar is their most played, and they're all willing to select it on the blue side as a first pick. Great frontliner, would beef up RNG's teamfight strategy.
When both these supports have very safe laning phases as well and put priority on the control wards and clearing vision, you know that the Alistar is built for the mid to late game when they move out of that laning phase. But Doinby's done a number on RNG after Game 1. There is no way he's playing Ryze here in this second game, but maybe the Lissandra if it's left up and open.
Weird thing is, even if you ban the Ryze, there's still so many engage options in his pool. We've seen the Essence Reaver, Renekton, or the Kled just coming out as well. So the amount of distance you can traverse with those champions is absolutely stunning. RNG, they recognize their need for Lissandra, just something that can frontline.
It's pretty standard as well, considering Xiaohu and Doinby both play this champion a lot. FPX now looking at the opportunity of their bottom lane, and this time they'll take away the Kai'Sa, LWX's most played champion, and Crisp sides with Alistar. The denies there, and Uzi. Game 2 Vayne, smackdown. There's a Morgana to add to it as well, and a Corki. Oh, this is insanity.
Oh, this is spicy. This is what RNG are doing.
Clement, look at him.
Oh,
you cheeky devil, Uzi, you know it.
He has double lift. Whose Vayne is better?
Yeah.
And I think we all know the answer by this point. 100% Uzi, one of the best Vaynes we've ever seen.
One of the best AD
Vaynes we've
Well, he's
ever
the best
seen.
AD carry in the world, Clement.
Yeah. And this combo it's so deadly against that combination from Alistar and the Kai'Sa. You can't push out against that lane very easily. And if Ming is on point with that Morgana Black Shield, it's also a bit difficult for you to land your full combo onto the Vayne. Vayne, recently with the teamfight buffs, is very hard to track down. The tumble cooldown is so low when you go into that final hour.
That's exactly right. We know that this is going to be a game of Uzi's Vayne highlight. RNG, they've started looking towards how can we make that Vayne safer. They get rid of Gimgoon's Vladimir, while FPX have a solid focus on the top jungle. Skarner away from Kasa, Yorick from Amazing J, which has not performed so well, and now the opportunity again for Tien to get his pick.
Now, so Tien still has a lot of options right here. The Lee Sin, of course, still on the board. That's the big one I'm looking towards.
The RNG ban it away here, Clement, because Kasa plays it a lot. They hover and they lock in, rather. The Aatrox instead, so FPX still have it.
True. Well, FPX, I think they need a very strong early jungle because the mid lane, the mid lane and the bot lane are not supposed to go well in these matchups, so they need something that can at least keep it stabilized. Last game, you got a Kai'Sa Unleashed. This time, it's Uzi on Vayne.
Yeah.
If that gets through in the team fights,
smiling.
it's going to be so much different.
In both teams, you can see, having a bit of fun. They know there's going to be a lot about the skill matchups here in this second game. With the Lee Sin now locked in, Kasa, you look at his options. I don't want to see the Poppy, but I think we might from Amazing J. Would you blind this again?
I don't think he has a lot of choices here.
Okay.
He still has a Scion on board, but the Scion is very, very abusable in lane.
It's a big difference between those top laners then, especially, because Gimgoon has a lot of options available. We'll see RNG just lock in the Kha'Zix. Hello, Kasa.
This is one of his specialties.
Oh, surely not. Gimgoon played this blind Game 3 against IG and managed to survive the lane against Duke. Not threatened here by the Poppy. What does Gimgoon do? I feel like he's just going to lock it away, Clement. Why not? Or the Scion and get disappointed. I mean,
I think this is a great pick actually against Vayne. There's first off, it has that global presence where early level 6, even if Vayne gets like an early lead in the bot side, it's going to be very hard for RNG to actually convert that into kills. And later in the team fight, Vayne doesn't have the highest range. Those barrels are going to be very deadly to you, and the AoE effect can't cancel out the invisibility in final hour. So I actually really like this pick. It's not going to have problems in the top side either, so a really good solution. However, we have seen Gameplanks fall very, very far behind, and this was kind of the win condition that we've seen for teams that were successful against FPX. Try to punish Gimgoon, try to put him so far behind that he can't really stand up anymore. And Poppy versus Gangplank is one of those matchups where you can get that going.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Tien on the Lee Sin can make repeat ganks there over to the Poppy. Quite easy there to pressurize the top side of the map, but we did continue to talk about the mid 2v2 in jungle. When you have a Kha'Zix and Lissandra, so easy to lock down for Kasa to come in and delete you with isolation. So much threat here for Doumbé, who's now picked up, I don't think he's played Corki yet. Is this his 12th champion?
I think it might be. Let me check my list. Yes, Corki is his 12th champion. So he's sitting as most champions picked in the LPL currently. Doumbé always giving us something new. I want to see his build if he goes for some weird item build where there's an engaged component.
And you know he's not going to pick up Infinity Edge first, Clement. You know, that's the smart thing to do. We don't want to see that cough icon, but I'm impressed to see that Doumbé is continuing to grow his champion pool, and we'll have to continue to grow this laning phase in this game with the Corki. Tien again revisits on the Lee Sin, but a very different opponent in the Kha'Zix jungle.
So this time around, RNG has a very good protect composition around Uzi. It's going to be so hard to walk into Morgana, walk into Keeper's Verdict, or Lissandra, and they also have a semi-range advantage in at least their AD carry position as well. So what FPX are looking to do is they have to punish that with that range coming in from Gameplank.
You'd have to think as well that Gimgoon, there's a lot of priority on these lanes as well. A lot of global pressure there. In Game 2, the pressure compiles up. Can RNG go the distance, or will FPX continue undefeated and look like the best team in the LPL. You've got a couple of teams to prove up against after this, but RNG, the test is against time. Let's get to it. FPX do not have an arena. All right, there's SKT calls and all that kind of nonsense.
They still had a couple of fans. I like this opening from FPX, by the way. Look at how careful they are of venturing into the river.
Yeah.
They've seen what Ming can do on this Morgana pick. They're saying, you know what? Stock standard wards, we're not going to have them this time.
I spy no aftershock on Lissandra.
Ooh.
That is the first time in a very long time that I have seen a Comet on mid lane Lissandra.
I think it definitely works out in this matchup, however. It's a matchup where Lissandra gets the push earlier on.
Yep.
And he just wants to maximize his punishment onto Doinby, make sure he can't lead lane as easy as in his previous series. The key moment you want to look for on that Corki is that 8-minute mark when he does get the package and he can start making those roams happen.
Yep, Doinby will be able to rely on Gimgoon then as well with the cannon barrage. So it's not like FPX have to forgo all these lanes. Colonel, I hope that's not true. I want to see a game 3, but that's just the greed here from me. You got to look at what the Colonel's actually looking at here, and that's the potential of this game going late for FPX.
I just want to see as many Uzi Vayne highlights as possible.
Oh yeah,
we were talking about the amount of pentakills he has on just this one champion. I believe there's already 4 pentakills he has on.
Insane. He's been around for as long as time itself here in the LPL. Amazing J was about to get encountered there by TM, but he chooses not to go to the top side, as spotted out by a ward. So he'll just leave and potentially go back to what looks like we've started off with vertical jungling.
Yeah, I do like this for RNG just a little bit. They are trying to pressure harder in both of these 2 lanes, so
Yeah.
you know, 2-for-1 trade for RNG basically is what I'm getting at.
That's a very good ward though from Xiaohu, dropping it on the blue buff considering we are talking about vertical jungling, and Kasa is already ahead as Tien tried to make that impact in the top side of the map. This will be spotted out, and it means that there's a lot more freedom here for Kasa in enemy blue.
Yeah, this was definitely a better start for RNG because what Tien was actually doing was his red buff into his Krugs, so he wasted a bit more time on getting onto the map. So we should see this be a favorable trade for Kasa.
That was really, really rough, though. I mean, amazing Jay's in here, asking for help. Gimgoon is going to have to come down, but this blue buff still not taken. Kasa just having the time of his life towards that bottom side, and amazing Jay is an annoying threat. There's the heroic charge into the wall. Tien can't go anywhere. This is actually not a good 1v1. Tien gets the smite down. Amazing Jay gets burnt down, and blue buff will go over to him, but a lot of time wasted there from FPX's jungler.
And it actually has to force the teleport out of Amazing J as well. Look at this minion wave at this point.
That's a demolished gangplank too.
So Gimgoon is definitely going to be very far ahead in terms of his build, and he's going to have an extra teleport come level 6.
Yep.
So FPX do have a pretty good
Oh
set
wow,
play.
Uzi's gone too far forward though, Clement. Runs into LWX with no mana. The Ignite's ticking down, but the Black Shield will save him. LWX gets one last hurrah onto Ming. And now the bottom lane is one step away from giving over first blood.
Massive summoner win for FPX. They can chain this trade up with Gimgoon coming down from the top side. It's a very easy play to do, and it's going to be up to Karsa to kind of rectify the situation.
Karsa has flash. Crisp is dead.
Oh, boy.
Good night.
Nice.
Crisp survives.
Oh, really well done by the heal.
Oh no, Tien's coming down as well. Safeguard in. Doesn't land the Sonic Wave onto Karsa. A lot expended there by RNG's bottom lane, but they're getting out away from the Lee Sin.
Uzi's still holding on to a sizable CS advantage, but look at how bad this lane is. This is a lane where he's getting purely zoned out, and they can't leave the lane. They have to play through this.
Yeah, super rough here. When a Vayne has good lane, oh, you're in pain. It's really, really rough considering that we have the Infernal Drake as our first elemental spawn down at the bottom lane. Tien's here ready to repressurize, and Uzi and Ming at half health still. Sonic Wave avoided there from Uzi. Tien not in a good position. One more. Condemn? No. Uzi doesn't take it, but Doombee's coming down.
Doinby still doesn't have level 6, but his burst damage should be quite high. I don't think he should be able to find this kill, though.
Level 5 Corrupting Potion ticking. Phosphorus Bomb doesn't land, and that was the burst damage he was hoping for. But at least moving down, you know the versatility of FPX.
It's a really smart move because they're forcing Uzi to delay his back. That's the situation. That's 2 times in a row that FPX are forcing Uzi to not back when he actually very much wants to. The first time around, they freeze the wave. Perfect situation. Uzi says, you know what, I can't give up on a wave and a half. I'm down. I'm not going to get final hour before Kai'Sa hits level 6. I need to stay here. The second time around, a roam from Doinby. So a really good move on pressure. A lot of times, winning in League of Legends does not involve kills.
Yep.
You don't have to kill the enemy to put them that far behind, and that's a great example of how he can do that.
Because it's small league growing here for FPX, despite Tien wasting so much time around that blue buff before. Caster's now returning to his jungle and Tien's still returning to the bottom lane. There's so much priority here from FPX to get that vision, knowing where Xiaohu is, and to get to that bottom lane and force some.
Tien still holding around this lane. This is pretty obvious for RNG at this point, but they're just trying to force the fights.
Yeah. Level 5 on both bottom laners. Doinby's coming in. It's obvious, but Uzi can't read it. Ming's going to get flashed on as well. Double kill for the Corki. And FPX, the fighting continues.
Only one traded back for RNG's side, and this is going to switch the lane matchup completely into LWX's favor. Kai'Sa's still a great scaling champion himself. I don't think RNG is going to be able to get much back.
A close call. Tien does drop in that fight as well, but first blood went over to Doinby.
Oof. And just look at how rough the top lane is as well. But first of all, let's look at the replay. We can see the question mark pings already going down. I didn't think RNG were going to fall for this necessarily, but they do. That's the problem, they do. Chris gets a beautiful two-man knock-up, even in the face of a potential Black Shield.
He saw that the Dark Binding landed onto Tien there, so Ming still able to trade back, but the bottom lane now in arrears with, look, 2 assists on the Kai'Sa, so maybe not. Maybe it's okay for Uzi as he returns to lane, but it is not okay for the mid lane. Doinby runs down, gets 2 kills, 2 components of Trinity Force at 7 minutes in the game. And if you wanted to see how Lissandra versus Corki went, well, this is not your game, because Corki is going to absolutely dominate.
Yeah, Corki just has such a better late game. It does more damage, great side lane potential as well. This is not how the matchup is supposed to go. The Lissandra is supposed to win out in the poke war, especially with a keystone like Comet. But that didn't happen, and now it's time. It's already 8 minutes. First package coming up for Doinby to roam.
Yeah, we'll see how it comes about, because Xiaohu's still ahead in CS, but having that lost chapter might actually quell my words. Might be Doinby okay there as Tien walking blindly in. The flash is down. He's been hit by his own petard. Xiaohu getting roamed on by Doinby. Even Doinby can't do too much. The rockets are coming out. The missile barrage available. Xiaohu bursted down, but has to package out of there. Caster just re-engaging to get that mid laner out.
Though. Okay, good. Xiaohu actually disengages at the back end of that, knowing the damage potential from Doinby. Great pickup by Kai'Sa there. Really understood that they were going to have to go for this blue buff. It was the timing of the package, actually. They knew that Doinby was going back. He just found his kills. He found his package. He's going to be there. They're back together and setting up a perfect ambush.
Really deep board here that just cost him his life.
Really beautiful going on to the backside of Lee Sin. So even if the Dragon Rage did come through, he would still be behind Lee Sin to find the kill.
Yep. Doinby, I think, forced out of lane again. That's take away while the bottom lane fights again. Sonic Wave onto Ming. He's landed in. Ultimate's there, but can he get it in time? The killer instinct on to Uzi now with the final out. Great condemn onto the AD carry, but kicked in the wall by Tien. Kicked right where it hurts. Uzi, a beautiful flash! More to be expected there from the world-class AD carry, but he's just lost his bottom lane.
I want to see that again. Did he? I think he flashed after the Q2 landed, so he knew he had to take that damage in that instance, but he was able to get Lee Sin off of him. So a very smart flash in that situation. A lot of times, I think AD carries will try to risk avoiding the damage from the Q2 and just flashing early, but then have Lee Sin follow in on them underneath the tower and still die to that play. But you can see the patience on Uzi. Just wait for the Q2 to land. I'm going to flash afterwards. I'm still going to be alive.
That's right, dodged away from the Void Seeker as well, which would have done the kill, would have made it happen. Dragon is going to go down here as well, and Team just going to solo this out with no vision available from RNG. Their priority's been towards the mid lane this game and maybe securing the top side of the map, but FPX continue to go around the bottom and try and make that their own priority.
The top lane is also a ticking time bomb, and Amazing J not really getting any help and also not able to hold his own. Remember, the early play was very detrimental to his laning phase, but let's watch this again. Typical problem with the Morgana is it's actually quite difficult to use that Black Shield and mitigate all of the crowd control coming in. I want to see how Uzi sequences this. The Q1 lands.
Wait. dodges away from the Void Seeker of LWX. Would have been the kill for sure. Uzi surviving there as well. There is still no gold that is going over to LWX apart from these assists. So, although FPX are up in the game at 10 minutes in, yeah, that's a cheeky bind. That's just some free gold. Look at that. Although they are up in the game, sorry, RNG, their bottom lane is still pushing in and still has the CS advantage, as well as their mid lane too.
So I have to say, sorry, but I actually think the way Uzi sequenced that was to avoid the damage from Q2. It did look like I'm actually really surprised he didn't die to that, so I think he actually was able to get it out in that frame.
Yep. But mainly to dodge the Void Seeker, Clever.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Dodge it.
That's
mainly
all
to
that
dodge
matters.
Void Seeker, yeah. It's a really rare play to see. You have to be like pretty much picture perfect to dodge out on the damage on Beeson.
Super hard. Tian now into the mid lane as well, so Doomby ready to shove up. Sonic Wave, an inch from Xiaohu. Tian now spotted out, but they don't know where Karsa is.
Is Karsa willing to zone, capable of zoning him out of the bot side? Really smart move. They get Doinby in on the action and also Chris to roam around with them, so not falling for the same tricks.
Remember that if you're looking at teleport advantage, Gimgoon does have it, as well as that ultimate. Amazing J burnt it to get into lane, so we're seeing a lot of priority towards this bottom side. If we do see a fight, this cannot be matched by Amazing J, because he doesn't have his ultimate either.
Yeah, and he also used the Seeker's Verdict to clear out the wave, just for him to get this back. So a lot expended in this top side just
What is that moonwalk? What did I just watch from Chris? What is happening? Is he still channeling? What is going?
Oh my
the
God.
heck? Cameraman, take us back, man. Take us back. I think Michael Jackson's alive.
Back from the grave.
Okay, Chris has settled down now. That was the craziest thing I've seen in a while.
I think it's just the fact that he has his Hex Flash. Like, Alistar's, you know, whenever you're sitting in a bush, you might as well channel it, and that's what's causing the server bug.
At least he's going to go in and engage now. It's a good Black Shield from Uzi again. Does he need to ult here? Chris with half health pops the Unbreakable Will. Ulti for nothing.
Well played, well played.
Means that Uzi and Ming able to push this lane out once again. The Vayne having a good lane. The Lysandra as well with the first item there. Expecting the way things were going for Doomby to get that Trinity Force very early on. Might be delayed here. Amazing J. I mean, can he 1v1? That's the real question. Maybe. Trying to kite this one out. Doomby does get the range advantage in the end. Look, let's just start the Rift Arrow. Why not?
I don't think that's a viable option. But the key thing is how many looks RNG is actually throwing on Doinby's way.
Yep.
Doinby got a 2-0 lead in his own lane, and he's not been able to roam since that play in the bot side. And you can see how many directions and angles RNG are devising to take him off his game. Just make sure he cannot roam anywhere he pleases. And that's going to put the fear of God into Doinby.
Yeah.
He just walked towards the left side. He even had a control ward there. He's thinking, you know what, this should be totally safe. I'm going to go up here, see if I can do something for the scuttle. And Amazing J is like, no, I will lose CS in my own lane.
He keeps Amazing J just keeps trying to be elsewhere on the map, keeps trying to roam himself, but he's fallen behind almost 1,000 gold again in this top lane. Gimgoon definitely outmatching in characteristics and skill of Amazing J, but that's what happens. You pick the Poppy up, you have a melee matchup, someone that gets countered by ranged to destroy the barrels. There's a double Trinity Force on the team as well, with Gimgoon picking up one himself and another on Corki. So Amazing J going to have a really rough time at the moment without his Sunfire Cape.
There's insane burst damage coming in from FPX into this single team fight. They actually have a lot of one-shot kill combinations just with the Corki Triforce procs as well. So RNG, they need to play it relatively safe. I think both of these teams are trying to catch it.
Oh, that's a flash forward. Doing caught out and take it down. So quick there from RNG. Oh, man. You can see the commitment here. They want to push this Corki behind.
I want to sound the symphony for Doinby. Da, 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 da. He's been ganked so many times in that lane.
Is that like
it's
the English anthem?
crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, Clement. I've never heard a symphony like that. LWX caught out as well, though. There's a flash from Chris there. Engaging onto Xiaohu. They turn one blind eye to another. And Xiaohu forced to flash away.
Yeah, so at least they got the flash from that. So,
yep. He used it before. Yeah. But still, forces him out of the mid lane. That means the turret's going to go down. Keep his verdict is here. Gangplank's out of it, but they just jump on Amazing JT and wants to take the fight. The Dark Lightning maximum range. Caster with a Black Shield wants to re-engage. Amazing J flashes on in. The fight onto LWX. That's ult nice and early. He flashes over the wall. Xiaohu caught out of position, and Tian takes him down. Chris has absorbed all the damage, but the Gangplank's coming in. Level 11 on Gimgoon. Uzi to join the fight as well, but maybe just not meant to be.
Yeah, Vayne on that, really late to the rotation, was in the bot side, and they don't have enough burst damage to actually finish that off. I think the key thing was that we didn't actually see the steadfast presence stopping the killer instincts from LWX. If that actually went on, and that's usually how the combo goes, I don't think LWX would have survived right there. So it might have been a situation where Poppy was already had that on cooldown, but we can watch it again. Tense situation from FPX. They do catch Vayne napping in the bot side though, so it's a very smart play. They know Uzi's tendencies to go for farm in that situation. Amazing J goes in, and no, there is no steadfast presence to stop LWX from repositioning himself. And unfortunately, Lissandra walks into Gimgoon with Triforce at this point.
Yeah, definitely upsetting about Uzi because he wants to keep his stat at the moment of 10 CS a minute, 10.4 to be precise. So there's definitely
tendencies of RNG.
true.
And scale up
that's
a little.
Annoying.
Yeah, it is.
Meanwhile, they get the Rift Herald. And further to your point as well, this game, the first strike was almost FPX. You know, one step behind RNG rather than last game where RNG ganked. Tien was not into the game until 15 to 20 minutes in. And this time, RNG have kind of been thwarted with their plan. FPX are in a comfortable gold lead. They're trading up on turrets, as you'll see in this top lane.
They have a ton of outs as well. Amazing J is just getting chased around the map. I really fail to see where he can find a lane he can safely maneuver at. And once these side lanes get pushed in enough, Amazing J is not going to be able to beat the roam. Like, he can't actually group up with the other members of RNG fast enough. So it becomes this situation where he's constantly bleeding out advantages.
Where's Rift Herald gonna go?
Oh, they find out
it's at
blue.
Well, meanwhile, the fight going in the mid lane. Uzi gets the first kill, and we'll ignore the Rift Herald for now because Uzi's free firing onto Chris. The damage is going to tick over as he flashes out with the final hour. Remember, Uzi wants to re-engage here. He has his first item, and he's confident as hell. Give good into a beat, half LT, coming in for the collapse. Xiaohu gets stomped on. FPX are low, though, and Uzi still at full health. Onto Gimgoon as a kick. Knocks back Karsa. FPX have cleaned up the fight, but Uzi's still alive. Can't face into the Corki. And FPX will win out on the trade, which was an Uzi, and RNG died.
That was insanely close. RNG did not take down the mid tower in time, allowed Doinby actually to come into the fight. It was a sliver of HP, but Doinby was able to beat it anyway. And great zoning from Gimgoon on the back of that as well. You could see Karsa went in thinking the Vayne could get a highlight play. It was a triple kill served off on a plate, but that's the problem when you're a Vayne trying to walk through a corridor and there's barrels on the way. So RNG start out once again with the better start of the play. They do catch out with just the 4-man, no Poppy needed, but Doinby still makes it into the fight, forces a flash out of UZI, and the situation where Tien is coming in from the backside, very, very good collab. Xiao has to fall, and just watch Gimgoon here. He's low health, but he knows what he needs to do to keep his team members alive. Double barrel onto Uzi, buys his team that 3 seconds just to get out of that situation, and no follow-up.
I love how Tien could have just kicked Xiaohu for the instant kill. Saves it for that specific moment. And that means Karsa doesn't get to live out the fight, where he probably would have carried the rest of that fight as well. And Tien just continues to impress us as a jungler. And is honestly rising up the ranks each and every series.
You didn't expect RNG to actually lose that fight with an extra member. They already found the kill onto LWX, unable to capitalize on it. I want to see RNG play tighter with their map control. I feel like they've had a lot of edges outside of Amazing J's lane, but their capitalizes on that mobility or that catch potential has not really been sustained throughout the entire play. FPX has found their way back into it again and again.
That's right.
And this time again, we're going to see, can RNG actually out-trade their deficit in that top side?
It's going to be a big issue because another Infernal Dragon's coming up, and if FPX pick that, that is gold in itself. They've picked up another turret, that is more gold. Xiaohu always the one to respond here. So although for a team like FPX, you know, they are getting traded against, which always favors the team that is down in gold, you can see that their bottom side completely blind, ready for that Infernal.
I'm very confident in the way Gimgoon is maneuvering in this team fights. He's playing it incredibly well, using his range advantage to take the Vayne out of the game. So if FPX beat RNG to the punch, they're able to set up on that area. it's almost impossible for RNG to really contest the second Infernal Drake.
Maybe get closer towards FPX, able to take down the kings of MSI.
This catch was a bit of a question mark because it does leave the Infernal Drake wide open.
Yeah.
However, RNG, they're going to back themselves. They're not willing to contest this. It's going to be a question about whose tempo actually allows them to get there faster. But Ming, first one on the crime scene, is able to set up that vision.
Yeah, was able to clear out a lot of it from FPX as well, which is the main thing. Now re-ascertaining that vision by RNG. The Infernal Dragon is up, and Amazing J looking to collapse, but the rest of RNG just have to clear out these waves, and FPX so quick to the play here. You said tempo advantage before, and it's obviously FPX who continue to push it faster and faster.
Well, RNG have to contest it. They have the better concave at this point. Also, Vayne had 2 items better than LWX. They're going in.
Amazing J from the side. Xiaohu flashes in as well. Doomy's been caught out and knocked up and dead. Casa half health, but on the other side, LWX ults in. Xiaohu's taken by LWX, but everyone of FPX are so low. Amazing J on the backside is out of position. The Sonic Waves landed. Tian is almost deleted. It is. Glacial Path. Xiaohu's in. Gimgoon's out. Elder Dragon. Not yet, but that is an Inferno, and that's just as good.
And RNG are going to go straight for the Baron. You can see the pings going down right there. RNG beat the beautiful Moses play from Gimgoon. Like, he was able to split the squad up so well. Perfect cannon barrage, but in the end, it doesn't matter because Doinby was missing from the start of the fight.
That was a beautiful catch as well to start from Amazing J. He has one play, Clement. He has one play, and Amazing J's back into the game. But please don't die to Baron. He's out. Good. Baron's going to go down. 5 members achieve it. And RNG in the driver's seat. The audience feels it, and we do too.
The power of steadfast presence showing up big in this team fight. They did not expect RNG's front line to actually separate from Uzi in this fight. That's the big difference. Great find onto Doinby. Steadfast presence blocks the Valkyrie. No flash on him, so he goes down. However, the fight is still going on. Gimgoon has a perfect cannon barrage, covers the entirety of the river, and FPX are saying, you know what, maybe we can find a little bit more. But once that cannon barrage goes down, Xiaohu is back in the fight, finds a perfect 2-man, and he adds 2 more thralls to his collection.
And you know what, in that fight as well, you got to see the best of every one of RNG as the crowd begins to hype it up again. Ming clearing vision before that Baron, Dragon rather, came out. It was so important to that play, going in completely blind from FPX, showing that vision priority here has always been on RNG, and now it's going to be harder for FPX to contest it.
Definitely is the case. I do want to criticize FPX's previous play prior to the Dragon, and that's doing the 3-man catch into the top side. I felt like that really gave RNG a little bit too much momentum getting their setup onto the Infernal Drake, and you can see coming in back into that play, it really cost them big time.
Yeah, potentially did, but it's not over just yet. That's 2k gold lead. Baron's still available. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wave clear from FPX. Hard for the sieging to start here from RNG. Still looking for the potential of a pick with Casa and Ming. A lot of catch potential and no vision line again from RNG. See if they can get close to this turret.
FPX, they still have a lot of engage tools, and it's going to be hard for RNG to truly siege down onto the team, onto the inhibitors at the very least. They don't have the range advantage. Vayne has to walk up close without much protection. I think the play that RNG are looking for, if they do force into the inhibitor, would probably be the Keeper's Verdict. See if they can get a lucky double knock-up back into the enemy base, and maybe they could take an inhibitor off that. But if that doesn't happen, I feel like FPX should be able to hold on.
Yeah, they're really suffering from the poke RNG. Doomby, Gimgoon, LWX even. It's really harsh right now. And Doomby, he wants to defend it, but he doesn't need to. Gimgoon's coming in as well. Amazing J forces him back, almost gets bursted out himself. But turret does eventually go down. There's an objective for RNG that opens up the top side.
Lots of HP loss for Amazing J, but doesn't really matter at this point. Very good positioning from Xiaohu. That's basically a post-up play where he's saying, you know, LWX, we see you in the mid lane. Do you actually want to walk through this bush? I'm going to be here with Karsa. We're going to be a 2-man hit squad.
And if Karsa finds him, that is a Duskblade second on Karsa. Well, first, realistically, after the jungle item. So there is a lot of burst potential from Karsa. It makes it that much harder for LWX, even Doomby, to get out before they die.
This is a much better look at RNG when they have map control. They're finally choking out FPX the way they should be, and not just relying on, hey, you know what, we can wait for 5v5 team fights. There's so many more advantages that you can gain in this situation. Diversify your options.
See if this match of the week goes the distance. Diversities have been a big key here for FPX. Getting in this fight uniquely crisp onto Uzi, but he's just taken down. Uzi with the black shield even runs forward. This AD carry loves the Morgana pick, and RNG are going to love that quick pick.
So clutch from Ming. The black shield was so thick. The WQ damage from the Alistar not enough to even land a single crowd control onto Uzi.
And RNG continue to contest forward. Doomy just get pushed out as well. Xiaohu doesn't need to take the glacial path, but you saw the damage there before from Carson as the Sonic Wave lands. Amazing J, too far forward. That's right, get the Keeper's Verdict out, put it back away, and RNG can't stay.
That's so annoying because that Keeper Verdict actually goes onto a very shortened cooldown when you don't actually send it outwards, you don't complete the channel. That's a play we're going to be seeing more and more often as RNG try to siege up with this low range composition. But I hope we get a replay of that black shield from RNG. That was really clever because they saw Tian coming in from the left side. They acted like they didn't see him.
Yeah.
They let Tian come close. They let Chris take the play and basically take that one-way trip into the slaughterhouse.
Beautiful to see as well that Ming, his diverse champion pool goes further than something like the Alistar, like the engaged tanks we know him so well for. For Ming, you all know his name well. I don't need to go further than to say that Ming is doing so well at helping to carry this game. And RNG, this is a step back to look at what's to come. There's an Ocean Dragon that's now just going to be taken and Vision to be contested, but another Baron coming up in 1 minute. Remember, FPX have a 1.1 stat. They always pick up Baron. Always pick up Baron in all of their games. They succeeded last game, but this game is going to be so much harder.
They're one of the better teams at coordinating around Baron. I think that's the key thing. Their setup is actually very, very crisp. A lot of it has to do with, no puns intended, crisp.
Clement, I got it, man. You gotta keep going.
A lot of wards being placed by him. He was one of the star players before Doinby actually joined the squad. They were trying to hype him up in that situation. And I really like the wards you can see here. They don't have the map control, but they have those sneaky wards around the red buff where you typically don't actually drop your control wards.
Hang on, we're not going to be talking about Vision because Xiaohu's being clawed out with the Frozen Tomb. Gimgun's coming in as well. How does Xiaohu get out? He almost takes Tian down with him, but he doesn't. Big shutdown here, and that's on to Doinby.
50 seconds, however, so the reset shouldn't allow FPX to actually have enough time to force their way into the jungle at this point.
Oh no, Casa's here. He spots himself out. Gimgun could actually potentially take that 1v1 as well with Steric's Gauge, so Casa not going to have the same versatility on this pick, but Teleport coming in, and FPX remember that Xiaohu's up in 25 seconds. They really want to force this.
Well, that was actually a really smart play. So they actually push mid and go over the jungle completely. They say, you know what, we're not even going to touch the jungle. So just doing a straight teleport into getting position on that. It's going to be up to Uzi here.
Still a very unfair fight. Teleport's available on Xiaohu, but Keeper's Verdict away. RNG right into the Baron pit. Crisp is down. Tian and Doinby come back and they're like, we lost our support. But they're still going for the Baron. Tian comes on into the pit. Who gets it? It's secured by FPX. 3 flashes out. Tian comes out. Xiaohu! What a flight there by RNG's mid laner. The full clean. How's that for RNG in game 2?
Xiaohu with the peekaboo play, cutting off the retreat from FPX. They thought they had it in the bag at that point. They were going to run away with murder. They got the Baron play. It was going to be an extended game. Xiaohu says, no, you caught me once. I'm going to return the favor.
Heck, what a teleport from Xiaohu. What a flank. Chris has to approach this Nexus and watch it burn down, even himself to the death as well. RNG, their team fighting. When we say it can't be underestimated, we mean it can't. Let's go to game 3 and let the blood reign over this series.
That's one game FPX are not going to reach their season average of 1.1 Barons a game. Actually, they did reach it. They still got that.
They still got it, Clement.
I'm sorry, they still got it. I'm still got it. I was just so surprised at that play. RNG handled that picture perfect. You have to give it to them. The way they handled that Poppy with the 2-man knock-up into the back, they had that momentary 4v2 in the pit, and then the comeback from Xiaohu. 3 people walk into a brush, unsuspecting, and the Frozen Tome locks all of them to the graves.
And no people walk out. Just how important that play was with the Baron buff, with elongating the game. RNG thought they let them go, rather FPX thought they were out. but a massive lockdown from Xiaohu. That's insane. This is why you watch the LPL, ladies and gentlemen. For this series, for all series, for the games, for the magic, and for the damage that comes out.
I'm so happy this is going to go to the distance. 3 games is what we need with Uzi going on Vayne, Doinby highlighting himself. The key things for me this game was, number 1, RNG kept Doinby in check. 2 kills early on, pre-level 6.
On a corky.
Yeah, and you think that, okay, this game's going to go away. Doinby's going to have the side lane control. He's going to be able to roam free on the map. Not the case. RNG shut him down with multiple looks. They get the kill onto Tien early on. Amazing J comes in from the top side as well, and key picks to keep themselves inside of the game. Now, FPX, I like a lot of things they did. I love the game plank. I love the game playing pick. I think it goes so well against what RNG wants to do. It can hold off chokes. It can outrange the Vayne in a lot of these team fights. And the way they got into that Baron pit was also very, very impressive. Push out the mid lane, use a teleport. Do not walk into your own jungle. You know Karsa's there. Don't waste time with that play. So everything up to that was looking so good. But then RNG happened. RNG team fighting happened.
Off the back of Xiaohu getting caught out to teleporting in and making that play a reality. RNG bring us to a game 3. There's a couple of picks that are on the corner of my mind. The Alistar, not as high priority as I thought it would be. Rather, in game 2, not as high performing. But I still think it's going to be a big one moving forward.
Yeah, very well prepped from Ming's end as well to have that Morgana on standby. He
that
knew
Morgana
what he was
like
going to.
A game winner as well.
Yeah, if that pick happened in the mid lane, I felt like with the gold lead FPX was at, they actually were not that far behind. They were only 1k behind, and they had a very hard scaling late game team fight.
Sure.
Once Corki gets that IE, it doesn't even matter if Vayne can disappear. Like, a lot of times the AoE is just going to take her out. But they were able to... RNG, it really is about how you think of the team fights. And this is the strongest point of RNG. They are so creative when it comes to the 5v5. They understand how to break away players, how to come in from flanks, how to actually get the correct engages going. And that's why that I never really seen a team like even WE. I don't think they ever compared RNG in the way they play their team fights. WE, they dance around, they kite so well, but RNG are playmakers.
And RNG are going to have to play this game to the limits. It's game 3 coming up right after this between FPX and RNG. See if FPX can stay undefeated. Who knows?
RNG 招手嘛，然后 RNG 的话，UGI 回来之后，他们整个战队现在就慢慢找回自己的状态，之前 RNG 的打法，然后现在 RNG 打得挺猛的，打团就保护 UGI， 然后把 UGI 一个人在后面打输出，所以我们打 RNG 的时候可能要注意这个点。
And that's exactly what he did in game number 2. Welcome back to the LPL for the match of the week extravaganza into game 3. This is Clement Chu. My name's Jake Asterix, Aussie Penko. And game 3 means one thing. You count your blessings because it's rare that we get a match of the week that delivers. Actually, no, it's not this split. But we just get another one anyway, Clement.
The back and forth is what's really amazing because FPX has been so dominant throughout this stretch. They're undefeated in match series scores and averaging a 6,000 gold advantage at 30 minutes. This time around, back and forth fights. Nobody knows who's the winner until the very last moment. But like Doinby was talking about, it has become a game revolving around Uzi.
That's right.
RNG has found their footing. They're saying, you know what? Historically, Uzi has had a great time against LWX. That's all in onto that position. Get him the Vayne. And FPX's counter is, you know what? We're having a great time in the top side, so we're going to select picks that can actually counteract Uzi.
And like Uzi was counteracted just on that note. Gimgoon was massive on Gangplank, even Doomby into the mid lane because we set up the 2v2 so nicely because that's what FPX do.
Yep.
They set up their 2v2 perfectly. And in that game, it wasn't enough because you have yourself a composition of RNG that is very, very normal. And Amazing J gets a second chance at Poppy, and that second chance nets him a big MVP.
The clear plays for me in this game were around the Infernal Drakes where he found that catch onto Doinby, knew that he didn't have the flash, was willing to go flash E him on the wall and make sure he died in that team fight. That was the big hurrah, the comeback play from RNG. Before that, on a gold deficit the entire time, and the second time around was the big Baron play where he made it a 4v2 in the pit. Let's watch that again as it does go down. You look at Gimgoon, he's standing there and thinking, what am I supposed to do in this situation? All of the carries are away from the pit, and it actually buys them enough time where the Baron isn't taken. They force FPX back into the situation, and Xiao was able to finish off the play.
Isn't it ironic, though, in this series, we looked at both top laners and we said if there's a weakness for FPX, it's with Gimgoon, especially the way he plays in his laning phase. We looked at Amazing J, we said the way he plays in his laning phase could be an issue. He's not let me yet. And both of the top laners are actually naming these games for both teams.
Yeah, I have to say, though, Gimgoon has had the upper hand. No mistake. Gimgoon on the upper hand, FPX on the red side. They found a very consistent point of advantage for the team. I'm still a little bit worried about Amazing J. I feel like these picks specifically were situations where FPX did not read it correctly. They're so comfortable playing with the Poppy. In a lot of situations, RNG can find themselves using that Keeper's Verdict to create advantages others teams just don't think about.
Yeah, throughout this whole series, we've seen Amazing J's Poppy. Throughout this whole series, just looking at the mental here from FPX, we have seen them in a very solemn state. Not to say that they're upset, but they've been like this from game number 1. Very calm, cool, collected, as well as just in a good state of mind against RNG. RNG have been laughing, cheering. Now it looks like the pressure's added that extra level because there's just this extra level of emotion as you're looking at Crisp here and thinking, all right, cool, what's going to be played in this third game and what's going to be prioritized as RNG enter the arena for the last time tonight.
Going through their own L'Oreal tunnel as well this time. For FPX, this is the moment of truth when you really discover what your legend has been based on so far, because you've been undefeated in your match scores. When it comes crashing down, there's that moment where you're doubting if this actually is reality, or have you been living in a dream, for instance. So I think these are the moments where we really see teams rise beyond what their previous selves could hold. This is the moment where you see, hey, can FPX actually transcend their other strategies? What else do they have in the gas tank now? Doinby and Tian have been shut down throughout this series. Gimgoon has been doing great so far, but it hasn't been transitioning into clear-cut wins coming out from the top side. What else can we actually pull against RNG? Are we going to contest them in the team fight? Is it going to be a split-pushing game? What other options do we have?
Remember that in Game 3 against Invictus Gaming, and yes, that went the distance as well, that was our match of the week too. We saw the Game 3, the blind Gangplank. We also saw, I believe, the Rise came out in Game 3. We saw the unique picks that defined FPX that brought them into the winning matchups, or rather the winning game against Invictus Gaming. Will we see that again? Because RNG have shown that their team fights, their compositions are built around that as always. They are the team fighting team in the LPL, and the chaos of FPX wants to ensue that first. Game 3, match of the week. What more could you want? Let's get into it, and already a couple of key collectives from the bans.
Exactly the same bans that we've seen throughout the entire series. FPX are going to go back to their, we're going to allow Zoe for RNG type of strategy. Make sure they don't have a strong team fighting front line. Okay. Make sure they can't use map control well. Now RNG, they're finally going back to the Alistar. Now this is Chris' turn to say, hey, do I actually have the counter to the Alistar? Do I have something like the Morgana or the Fiddlesticks to contend with it?
We'll see, because he's been opting towards some of the tankier supports. Brom is his secondary, and also the Tahm Kench is there too. But good to see that Ming's on the playmaking support for Game 3, whereas FPX are going back to the Game 1 style of bottom lane.
It's a little surprising for me, but RNG get a lot of the key things they're looking for right now. The jungle pool is wide open, so they can set up a 1-2 combo punch in that jungle and mid, or they could just go for something that Uzi wants to play. However, I don't think he has a good option in terms of the laning phase. As long as he gets a hyper carry, I think RNG are pretty happy. So I do expect the Lee Sin, great pick on Karsa, and for them to go for something that's more aggressive in the mid lane. Keep Doinb down again.
He hasn't been able to pick up this pick at all during this series. It has been towards second rotation, and red side first pick, as you know, after ban phase 2, is always going to be usually the jungle if it hasn't been picked up already. RNG snag that one away, and Xiaohu gets his Syndra too. So this is a precarious situation if you're in an FPX. You want to look for a counter in the mid lane, or you let that slip by.
The interesting thing here is that a lot of champions that Doinb runs are not afraid of the burst potential from Syndra. A lot of them can actually outlive the burst. Picks like Aatrox, for one, can definitely do it. And other things are like Renekton and Kled. You know, you push me in lane, it doesn't matter. I still have the roam potential.
Clement, this is a triple flex, though. I'm just saying this now. You know, whether it goes up to Gimgoon, Tien, maybe more likely Doinb or Tien, but still the potential for a triple flex. We still see Aatrox up, we see it in the jungle, and Doinb has played it mid.
Aatrox has been running up the standings in terms of the appearance rate. People are discovering it's pretty good in the jungle as well. As long as you have some crowd control in the lanes, it's fine. Now for FPX, I want to see what they ban out for Amazing J. They feel like Gimgoon has been the sole winning point along this entire series, so I expect them to put Amazing J in kind of a difficult situation. They're opening up the Scion and the Urgot, which actually Gimgoon has a lot of champions that can deal with well. Too. He has a lot of champions like the Fiora for one, the Ryze for one, the Kled he also plays. So he's a guy that actually does pack a lot of carry potential in that top side.
Yeah, very true. The Urgot was already banned away, so Sion, the natural pick here from Gimgoon, as Amazing J loses both Yorick and Poppy in that banning phase. And even though you take away the Gragas from Tien, I think you still be happy with this on Gimgoon. You still put, as you said just then, Amazing J into a difficult position.
FPX, this is a very strong mid-game teamfight composition, but doesn't really have the elasticity in towards the late game. I actually suspect this Scion is going to go into the mid side, into the mid lane. Of course, they have a chance to look at the matchups before they select it in.
Who knows at this point, Clement? Yeah.
Yeah, but with the way the series has been going, I think Doinb just wants to be risk-averse in the mid side.
That's very fair to be understated that RNG probably know that now as well. The Kai'Sa locked in there for Uzi in the third and final game. You already got his Vayne, ladies and gentlemen. He can't be spoiled that much, but his Kai'Sa just as good as both AD carries sit on this as a core.
Here's the top lane. Now, this is a difficult one because essentially Amazing J is still playing against a potential counter pick. The Aatrox could go into the jungle. The Scion could be mid. Gangplank is actually one of Amazing J's best champions. Historically speaking, he's been a more bruiser-centric player. He loves to get into team fights, but he's always had that one or two champions that kind of surprises you. You look at him, you go, this guy actually, a lot of times he's more for the tank style of champions, but then he pulls out the Camille and the Gangplank, and you're like, wow, this guy can actually play.
Yeah, that's right.
So Amazing J, going back to some of his old tricks here.
But Tien is as well, Clement. That is at least locked in, which means, all right, Scion mid or Aatrox mid. I'm still not convinced here, but considering the matchups there, Clement, you know the answer.
I do prefer the Scion mid just to prevent how many looks that RNG has been throwing towards Stormby. Now, the interesting thing about the Elise is a lot of times the Lee Sin will go into gank mode, but the Elise can counter gank very, very effectively. She has that range advantage, and she doesn't need to go all in when she ganks, unlike the Lee Sin. So a lot of times, if Tien can ambush Lee Sin in a gank, then he can walk away with a clear 2 kills and 0 deaths.
That's right. We know how potent Tien's Elise is. You saw it at the start of the show with abusive topside presence. This game could be very different. It will be the Scion in the mid lane there for Doinby. So you might not get your just reward, but you still get Doinby on a Scion. Who knows what he builds this game? I'm curious as to what he takes in the rune set as well, considering we've seen a lot of phase rush Syndra. Will that be the case coming into Game 3? Maybe it doesn't matter, because Gimgoon is once again on a carry.
We've seen this play happening over. We showed it in the pre-show where the combination of Gimgoon and Tien, they just bully you over and over again.
Yeah.
Make sure you get ganked 5 times within the first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes. Keep your CS low, keep you out of the game. And Gangplank versus Aatrox is a matchup where that can happen very, very easily. Gangplank, not one of the strongest champions earlier on, doesn't have CC, not a lot of tools to threaten a tower dive, and Elise is a champion in that department. Can take aggro very, very well.
Yeah.
Can actually zone out and 1v1 the Lee Sin in specific scenarios as well. So this is going to be a matchup where a lot of eyes are going to be turned toward Amazing J, and can he hold the front?
It has been about Amazing J and Gimgoon, surprisingly enough. The 2v2 of both teams has been moderately quiet, but coming up in the late game. In Game 3, we get the answer if FPX can bleed a series, and if someone can make them undefeated. But for now, it's all on the line here as Royal never give up and FunPlus Phoenix look to shed and destroy. Okay. Like I said, the Chinese crowd have absolutely gone bonkers over the past couple of weeks. That's what happens when the LPL is so fiercely competitive. And when your match of the week goes to all 3 games, RNG, the supporters have fired up as well. And not surprising enough, or rather it is, that the mid lane has taken Airy and Doinby with the spellbook on Scion.
Just to get more poke damage earlier on, Doinby, the idea for him is using the spellbook, he can actually reach other lanes a little bit easier. He's not going to be too aggressive in the laning phase.
Very true.
What I want to pay close attention to is actually the start from Lee Sin. A no leash start from Lee Sin early on onto the red buff usually signals a level 2 kill somewhere. So I want to see if he follows up on that, or if it's just making sure that their bot lane can get a little bit more priority in lane.
Going straight over to the Wolves as well, so quick start there from Casa. Infernal to be noted again, ladies and gentlemen, as Tien goes straight to the bottom lane. Interesting pathing, straight from red all the way down to Scuttle. It will be spotted out. But again, it's that intuitive pathing. It's that creative style from Tien.
This is just Tien preventing Karsa from a level 2 gank. Now, after the changes in the totem pools, the blue side jungle level 2 ganks have been very, very prominent in the LPL landscape. A lot of times we actually see RNG were the ones to pioneer this, where they have the support on a sweeper starting from level 1 and just clearing the path for a level 2 gank. It's very difficult if you actually push out. You think that, hey, maybe they're giving up priority, and if your bot lane just push out, it's very easy to punish in that situation. So we see so many times they have to play teams have to play suboptimally just to avoid the potential level 2 from Karsa.
Yeah. At least now they should know where Karsa is, or at least have some idea. Pings going on the friendly jungle as Doinby was either forced out or just wants to back early to get himself, I mean, what is he picking up? This early on, Tien's made an appearance into the bottom lane. There's no subtlety about this whatsoever, even after the cocoon landing.
It's a very good position that RNG actually held the wave in. Now, this is a very typical play in the LPL. It's called 3-3 versus 2-2. So you have 3 level 3s. They have all their abilities going up against 2 level 2s. The way you counteract that is you have to have the wave management on spot. You need to keep the wave outside of your tower so people cannot walk up to you underneath your own tower, and they did that very well on RNG's
Well,
side.
hang on, you want to see Doomby join the fight, but he's caught one in the mid lane. Flash is already trying to do fancy footwork. Two-man decimating smash, the flash, the repel.
Can he get it?
Tien, auto attack, no burn, isn't enough. Xiaohu has the flash as well, and that's not good. The decimating smash can't land. Sonic
goes back in.
Casa, the scout of the week as well. Xiaohu getting chased by a zombie. Doomby cannot reach him, and that was RNG's jungler coming up clutch.
Woo! An absolute monster of a play. The start of it was actually very good for FPX and highlighted the fact about Elise on the counter gank against Lee Sin. Lee Sin has to follow up with his face. The Elise can counteract with range, and they get a beautiful decimating strike to start the actual play off. So a very good understanding of this. However, the problem actually came from the bot side. The bot side, they didn't get the full wave push in, so this is on the blue side, so you can actually still roam in this situation. And Alistar was able to zone out Crisp from the Raptor ramp, and Karsa goes in to finish off the play.
Scatter the week to get the other kill. Jungle and mid. Okay, now this time we're talking about it. As Tien walks up to the top side of the map, Amazing J should have cleanse with the orange here. Tien looking to follow that up. Spiderling's doing damage as well. Amazing J, why did you walk back in? Spiderling's in the burn. Not enough. Very precarious from the top laner of RNG.
That was incredibly risky. Did not expect that play from him. Amazing J, of course, still has his teleport, but this is going to be a situation where Lisa needs to get up there. They're forcing Karsa to react to the play from the top side. You can't really leave a gangplank like that. No teleport. Knowing that Elise is still around the area, it's very risky.
He's just dominant in multiple lanes now for both RNG and FPX. The bottom lane's even, but mid over to Xiaohu by 10 CS, 15 rather. The top side was going well for Gimgoon as we just found an invade gone wrong here from Karsa. Blast Cone taken very smartly. Karsa in the middle of it all. Level 5 can't get anything to fight again. RNG roam up with their bottom lane. Decimating smash avoided from good scatter of the week. 5 members here. Teleport burn by Gimgoon, and FPX get nothing.
Really rough roll of the die right there. I think the big issue was that to start the fight off, Lee Sin was already 2 levels ahead.
Oh no, Doomby there, scatter the week. Xiaohu has unleashed power. Solo kill for the mid laner of RNG.
Unexpected kill right there. Doinby getting caught with his pants down. Not really aware of the fact that Xiaohu could just find a simple kill off the back. A little bit of tilt simping in, I feel.
I mean, he's already been forced out of lane once and now getting killed for it. 2 kills for the mid laner. And Xiaohu hit level 6 in the middle of that wave. You can see almost first item. Bax picks up the Sork shoes as well. Very severe kill threat now against Doomby, who is 1,100 gold behind at 6 minutes in the game.
He's going to have to find something in this bot lane. Sion already with his ultimate.
Tien's trying to be proactive as hell here. Infernal Dragon's up as well, so if RNG have priority across the map, this is going to be huge.
Good ping out by Xiaohu, so they managed to sniff out the play without having vision onto Doinby, and look at how far the bot side actually backs out.
Yeah. I mean, Tien keeps trying to make these ganks so Clement. He is behind by 30 CS. 30 CS against Karsa. Watch how Doomby just got destroyed here.
So Xiaohu actually hit level 6 in plain view, so Doinby definitely knew about the potential, but still walked up to the wave. I've got to say that's a very uncharacteristic mistake coming in from Doinby.
We wanted to see how he could recover while Doomby is trying to move across the map, but right now they're very skeptical about where Karsa is. You can see Doomby just walking up, making sure that there is no jungler on his way, while Karsa is actually towards the bottom side of the map, still farming up, still with a heavy advantage over Tien.
I love that roam from Chris just to make sure that his jungler could get some reprieve, at least spend a little bit of time.
Is it happening again? Doomby does have ultimate. Crisp has come to save the day, but he might die instead. Cannon Barrage down, and Crisp has been ignited, hit in the face. Karsa with another. RNG, their early game is triumphing over FPX.
Just a brutal lane position being held by Syndra, holding the wave towards his own tower. His bot lane can roam, his jungle can go anywhere Karsa wants. And they punish it so well. It's really nice to see the coordination coming out between these two players.
The early game has so much bloodiness, like FPX and RNG, you more or less expect this game to be going the way it is, but not from FPX, who are now going to lose the Infernal Dragon on top of that. Has their throne been destroyed? No. But has their throne been tarnished? Well, still not yet. is definitely the right answer there, Clement. But this early game is accelerating, and Tien is trying to do exactly that for his laners. But all he can do is invade, put some pressure on Takasa, and try and get a response.
FPX realize they only have one winning point on the map, so they need to cash out as hard as possible on it.
Doomby
I
has
don't
the
think
ultimate.
Amazing J can get out of this.
Yeah, his ultimate popped immediately. Might not have to be used from Doomby. He does into the wall. Amazing J drops down, but in the bottom lane, bigger response from RNG. Ming with a two-man knock-up into the belly. LWX flashes
so
onto
well
Uzi. Now underneath the turret as Chris drops on down. LWX was close, but Xiaohu comes down for 2 more kills. And this Syndra is absolutely bloody massive.
4-0-2 scoreline at this point. Not much that the FPX bot lane could have done. LWX, he played it as well as possible. Uzi gets aggro, he tags him with the chains of corruption, flashes forward, tries to go for the 1v1, but RNG, Xiaohu just too massive at this moment.
Let's look at the bright side for FPX. They get first turret, they get all the plating that comes with it as well, but this game is going so fast right now. 2k gold lead for RNG. They are unable to break open the bottom lane turret, and there's 2 platings left. So get the gold where you can, and that's exactly what this play was about.
We're going to see the play from FPX trying to cash out on their strong side of the map. Amazing J probably didn't need that flash there, but overall, you know, he does what he has to do. But this bot lane, just look at how LWX plays it. He gets out of the situation and then goes all in for Uzi. Probably the only play he can make in this situation. Very well done on his part, but nothing you can do.
I'm not sure that piercing arrow landed it. Otherwise, Uzi would be dead. I feel like he flashed out of that immediately. So very good mechanics still and reaction time from Uzi, as again we would expect. But LWX forcing the play, you can see how desperately they want to take this game 3, how desperately they want to turn things in their favor. With that Infernal, you got to add more gold to the top of the list because it's 10 minutes in, and that'll continue scaling. You have a Kai'Sa on your composition, you have a Gangplank, but most of all, you have Xiaohu, who's already got 4 kills and his first item.
FPX, this team, if they can't convert on a mid-game dragon fight, I think it's very hard for them to come back. You look at Varus, you look at Elise, you're talking to yourself and going, you know what, these are not the best scaling options. However, what they do have is we've seen Doinby as a good driver, an experienced driver. He can find kills out of nowhere, and I think that's going to be the first step for FPX. Can they find those situations where Doinby can get out of lane?
It's been such a struggle. Cast is coming in as well. They're scatter the week. Doinby kicked on back and destroyed again. They're just making mincemeat of FPX's mid laner.
Well, Doinby does find his way out of lane, but he finds his way back to the fountain. So I guess that doesn't really help out in the situation. RNG, they're playing very well to their win conditions. I love the way that they're shutting down Doinby. It's exactly what you need to do. Take away FPX main initiator, and frankly, I don't think Crisp is the one that can find them those hero plays to come back in the fight.
No, it's super rough. The bottom side of the map struggling. Even the top side may have 30 CS in a disadvantage, but Gimgoon just doesn't have enough at this point to carry. You want kills on the Aatrox. You want blood to be continued to be shed up in that top lane, while mid lane just keeps getting devastated. There's 3 kills on Lee Sin now. There's a bounty on both mid and jungle. The state of the game is RNG are keeping up this tempo, and FPX now trying to get the Rift Herald to bring something back in their favor while turret plating is still up.
They're wasting a lot of time from RNG. I actually think Gimgoon can, or yeah, he does get away from this play, but can Tien?
I mean, the issue is Sonic Wave does connect, and Gimgoon brings no. Doomby, not again. Unleashed Power is not available for Xiaohu, but Rift Herald continues. Russell almost dragged back in. They go back.
It's going to be very hard to pick this action.
Xiaohu scatter the weak, but Smite secures it. FPX again. Tien might be caught out. Can he get it? No, he can't. Rift Herald's still sitting there, but Kai'Sa has to flash away. The bottom lane's come on in. FPX, you need to pick up the Rift Herald as LWX roams on up and is eaten away. It's the support who picks it up, and FPX, this is the runaway, but they can't get far. LWX the first to drop. Xiaohu over the wall. Chris takes the orbs, goes golden, but scared dunk by Uzi. Scatter the weak goes wide, and Doomby and Gimgoon the only ones remaining. Rift Herald picked up at the cost of RNG, taking more lives.
Kai'Sa just danced around that fight for way too long. Picks up Tien on the backside, and Xiaohu, with the lead he already had, absolutely capitalized big on the moment. Did you see that stun coming out of Crisp? he caught the double, he caught the pregnant frog in his tracks, and basically shut that entire fight down. It looked like a very good start of the situation, a 5v4 to get it off. Uzi was very far away from the play, but you could see Elise trying to track a path directly towards that Eye of the Herald, gets caught out, and a beautiful scatter of the wing. Gets the two-piece, finds the geometric angle to lock down LWX on his way towards the tower, and frankly, this is not a Zanyas that Chris should have used because he was going to be held into position anyway.
That's true. While we're in that replay, keep thinking Elder. Infernal Dragon starts on up here. Now, Infernal goes over to FPX, almost contested by Casa, but that's a big objective to come back. And again, we're kind of left with this point in the game, even though FPX have fallen so far behind in their lanes, that the gold is not too far apart. We've got very similar traits from both teams. However, in moving into the mid game, we're going to have to watch out for Xiaohu, for Casa, for the rest of RNG that have these power spikes coming a lot quicker than FPX.
That was a fight where Gimgoon could have done a lot more with his with the lead that he had, but RNG danced around it way too well. Like, they never let Gimgoon get the situation where they could have found the shy Q at Worlds. Oh, here goes
now Xiaohu trying to force it. Here comes Time Catch as well. Xiaohu almost takes down the AD carry. Can they get the mid laning? Yes. Big shutdown here for FPX, and I like what they're doing, forcing the objective. Oh my god, Ming, the flash forward repel cancelled. Can Casa get into the fight though? Can Ming survive? Yes. What a worth there from RNG.
Uzi's call here is to trade the towers at this point. He wants the solo gold for himself. Moving backwards into the mid lane, probably not a viable option. Great play by FBX nonetheless. They should be able to at least get this mid lane.
Oh, flash here from Tian though. No ultimate available for Ming. They can turn onto Amazing J, but Doombee's tanking the turret. Moves out of range. Amazing J moves into it, trying to defend this wave. And with barrels, he will be able to, but still good picks here from FPX.
He almost has the cannon barrage. That's what Amazing J is waiting for. He wants that ultimate to come up, and then they can chase down every single member with Uzi on the killer instincts. But very good Devour by Chris. He takes LWX out of that resonating strike range, and that play is not going to happen. It was very, very close.
It really was. Amazing J comes to save the day, and Uzi even joins the fray as well. Into the mid lane, everyone trying to break open those outers. Teleport was used as a side note by Doombe, and that is not the spellbook teleport, because that is his core summoner.
FBX got game. They're within 300 gold of the situation, but RNG, they're not going to let the save side lane situation happen from game one.
Doombe shouldn't be here. The kick's available for Casa. He's in range. Doombe doesn't have the ultimate as well. I don't know what happened with that visual bug, but we all knew Doombe was going to die anyway. RNG get a pick and the mid lane turret, always trading up.
It's just so hard to play from FBX's situation. They continuously have to go for the riskier and riskier play.
Yep.
And I actually feel like they should try to get Gimgoon in onto more action.
Oh, hang on. There's kill threat from Amazing J. Has the World Ender, and he's 2 levels above. So still the Aatrox is big. The only reason we don't see him much is because Amazing J has been playing very safe in this lane. But it's still behind by about 50 CS. Keep that in the back of your mind, ladies and gentlemen, as we move into this mid game.
FPX, they have so much engaged potential on this composition. They're really creative with how they catch people out. Every time a side lane wave has been pushed out, I feel like FPX has done the better job in actually capitalizing on map control. You can see that play from Chris happening over and over again, taking stock at the gold situation. I think at least they have Tien back into the game with those kills he picked up. And Doinbe's still very far behind.
He is.
You have to be honest, Doinbe's still not making the impact and not being able to tank the front line.
Never did I think we wouldn't be relying on Doombe in a Game 3. We are relying on Tien, especially, though, further to your point. But it could be Gimgoon again. You know, LWX and Crisp, and, you know, bringing back to what you just said, Crisp needs to be next to LWX every step of this fight. There is so much risk here from the members of RNG.
With the item build that Tien has been going for, he actually has a good opportunity to simply burst one of the carries. So we have to keep very close attention to him. It's not about the gold lead, it's actually about how they play the team fights and if they can find the crucial backline targets. Same thing for Karsa, actually. If he can find LWX, he has enough damage to actually blow him out.
Yeah, almost lands a Sonic Wave. You would have seen that burst firsthand as they move out of the mid lane turret, but remember as well that for Tien, after he picks up that Morellonomicon, there's going to be a massive amount of burst on especially members like Xiaohu, who has the cleanse almost up and available. Thank you very much, says Amazing J.
Well done on his end, but FBX are actually faster on the push situation.
They are. Top lane still crashing in. They're around mid lane for RNG. what is going to be the play because Tian's coming down.
I don't think Amazing J actually wants to stay here. He doesn't see his the enemies, and he is pinging out that red buff is most likely being taken. But they do hold on to their towers nevertheless.
Tian expecting someone to come down, expecting some creative pathing from Casa from blue towards that red buff. And Uzi's joined into the fray as well. Tian does have the smite, that's the difference, but we'll just leave this one.
Uzi did see the spider, the explosive spider from Tian, so we could see with his pings, he was very well aware that Elise was in that brush. A little bit unfortunate timing on Tian's end, but it was actually a good idea. Like, Uzi at the end did come out of that situation, and he did path the way that they expected him to.
Can't believe how close this game is, Clement. You know, you said don't look at the gold. Completely agree. Doesn't matter anyway. We've got an Infernal on each team. There's a Cloud Drake sitting there, which is just going to keep the status quo as it is. There's a Baron that is spawning in 40 seconds. That'll change everything. But RNG optimizing on this Dragon. They're going to take it away. We'll see what comes up next. Another Infernal, please. No, it's going to be Cloud. All right. Bit wishy-washy, but I'm sure we'll get there.
The fights for RNG are more like knife fights. They have the ability to one-shot the enemy team with a lot of combinations. Syndra could probably do it by herself, to be honest. Karsa's also super fed. But on the other hand, FPX really only have Tian that can return the favor on their side. So I want to see, it's about how Doinby can kind of create space and find those flanks and openings for Tian to really come into the fight. I think Gimgoon is going to be looking at pretty much the same deal here, but it's going to be very explosive. A lot of things can happen. There's a lot of burst damage from both teams at this end. It really is going to come down, I suspect, to the vision fights and the instant reactions from team members. The crowd control from Gimgoon or LWX could decide it in a blink of an eye.
We know exactly how those vision fights go when it goes towards Ming, as we saw in the last game. That's what won it over around that Dragon fight. And FPX, they're in a strange position because right now they have all their control wards out. They don't have any refreshers, but this is the time that RNG are clearing away from Baron. It's going to be super rough. In fact, they don't actually have any control wards out on the field. So pretty rough right now for the vision clearing of FPX. And RNG having priority in that river makes it so much more dangerous for them right now.
Yeah, FPX can't really venture out into their own jungle. It's very, very dangerous. Syndra could be hiding inside. They don't really have someone that can check. Not even Doinby can do it, but obviously he's in the bottom side. So there will have to relinquish control of this side of the jungle at some point, and the pressure will be building up. The pressure will be building up to the point where RNG can say, you know what, we've already created this much of a buffer zone, let's turn it into a Baron. And that's when FPX, I feel like, has to make the move. There will be forced to.
I then look at that top ward. Look at that one control ward above Baron. Still hasn't been cleared out. I see that as an opening for FPX. I see that as a way that RNG can be flanked.
This is the toughest track for Doinby to actually maneuver. Like, he has to come in with the with his ultimate, go around that jungle side, and find his way into the back line somehow. A very difficult task. I want to see if FPX can do it.
Yeah. Relying on Doinby's ultimate has not been a wise decision this game. Only has the Sterix gauge. Might be caught out again. Dodges away from Scatter the Weak and the Sonic Wave. Nicely done from Doinby. Mental still there for what it's worth.
Does have to expend, I believe, a ghost for that, but doesn't matter that much.
It's a spellbook, Clement, you know?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Spellbook late game. Doesn't matter too much anymore. Amazing J scared of Gimgoon. Still a 2-level advantage, but they use this and the push in to start up the Baron. Blind here from FPX.
This is a play that we were talking about. Doinby has to come in at some point. Xiao, who has a perfect angle to stop anyone with Scatter the Weak.
Doinby find his mark. Cocoon doesn't land. Ming in for the pulverize. LWX locks him down there onto the Alistar, but the Baron. Tian gets kicked out. Cartha back in. Target selection now, but Ming is going to drop down for the Baron. Amazing J has teleported in, but Gimgoon's behind him, locking on down. Where's the orange? The flash instead. Amazing J's out, and that is the Baron for RNG for their support.
Oh, that play was so sweet from Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Picture perfect. Gets the lease back. Already has the Q1 planted on the Baron anyway. That's four thoughts.
That was insane from Karsa. I mean, Karsa's been playing out of his mind in some of these games as well. So it is a testament to how this jungler has been shaping up over the years in the LPL and how he has facilitated life in RNG. 3k gold lead now for them. They have the Baron buff, but it still looks like they're on the defense from FPX's Doomby. I'm not sure about the 1v1.
He can't get away from this.
Can he survive? Sonic Wave's there, but Casa doesn't need to chase anymore. Oh, hang on. Hang on. What happened there? Why was LWX in front of Uzi? They've just given over to kill. Momentum back into the swing. But
So
let's
we're
look
not
at this
gonna
burst,
actually
apparently.
get the play here. Just watch how RNG are zoning out the entire team. They already have me proactively in position. LWX can't really walk through that that situation.
Oh
And Karsa,
my God.
flash kick, Q2, Baron, absolutely no chance for FPX to take it.
That was so slick from Casa. That is the least thing you want on your team, and RNG have got it. I hope we do see a replay of what happened to LWX, but the tempo going so fast, not sure we will. Doomby does defend the mid lane turret. Stoneplate now as well, so he's not dying as quickly.
Very key item pickup for him. The question is, I don't think he's actually going to be able to find a good stone plate where he has the 3-member proc for the extra armor and resistances. RNG should be pretty scattered throughout all of these fights. They have a lot of single points that can just kill members one-on-one, so they don't really have a reason to group up now.
Noticing Uzi's down the bottom lane, he walks over a ward. There's a Cloud Drake there that's being taken. In that one-on-one, you could see that it was going to be Gimgoon walking blind in the brush, which would have been the 2-on-1 instead. RNG now going to move towards this bottom side turret, and it means that for FBX, they have to rotate fast or give this up. Ladder is the option.
It's only a 4K difference between the two teams at the moment. Doinby could still find his way on those key carries, and remember Tien's item, Morello Nomicon, already done. Has a lot of burst potential.
But took a while to complete for Tien, as picks still the potential for RNG.
Karsa's fishing for it. They still don't have vision over the wall, however. Quite risky, to be honest, on RNG's side. But they managed to dance through all of those skill shots.
Annoying wave clear from FBX2. Skill shot lands this time, gets 10 in the backside, but RNG can't commit forward. Breaking the inhibitors here looks difficult for RNG though.
Don't really have a lot of range with the Kaisa. They're slowly chipping it in, and here comes
Ming
Ming.
comes in for the dive. Doomby not taking out. Stoneblade pops as well to the backline. LWX gets eaten up. Chris flashes away. Gimgoon into ultimate form. Who's going to die first? Looks like it's Karsa from Gimgoon. Low health bars though from FPX as the World End has been procced, and all the way back goes Gimgoon. 4 versus 5, but with Baron buff, you make that a full 5.
I cannot believe that FPX actually did not lose a single member in that situation. It looked like a really good fight from the start of RNG. They got the triple man with the cannon barrage, and then the kickback with Lee Sin. But on the left side, lurking in the shadows, Tien with his Elise able to slow down the damage incoming from the composition. And we're actually going to go back for a replay that was happened very a long time ago.
Wow, okay.
Pretty straightforward.
So that's how it happened. Yeah, so Void Seeker onto LWX. Unfortunate there from the 80 carry. But Uzi capitalizing the way we know Uzi loves to. So 26 minutes into this game, we don't have a conclusion. Game 3, we have a 5k gold lead from RNG. But even so, the base is still there for FPX. They have the inhibitor turrets up. They even have inner, in the top lane as well. And Doomby is becoming more and more tankier. It's a Scion. It doesn't really matter that he's fallen behind early, because he is sure hell going to be unkillable late.
I want to see how Karsa uses the Dragon's Rage. What he could do is simply just kick out Gimgoon, and I don't feel like there's a lot of follow-up that FPX can offer at this point. I would also want to see how Tien really positions around this fight. He's probably the most key member, actually, because he alone has the snipe potential on RNG carries at this point.
Yeah, that's right. FPX very aggressive in defending this turret, though. Tien now joins the fight. Chris has been landed with the Sonic Wave. Cocoon misses. Ambitious to throw that out in the middle of the fight from Tien, but there is no positioning again from RNG. Look at where Gimgoon is. This is going to force the back from Amazing J.
Oh boy, this has to bring back so many bad memories for RNG. Don't you think that Aatrox looks a bit like Wonder? That's what FPX are hoping on at the point.
Well, I mean, for Gimgoon, I was surprised when he picked up this champion in game number 3. He's blind picked the Gangplank. He's optimized towards a large range up in that top lane, but I don't think we've seen the Aatrox too many times this split.
FPX have been doing a wonderful job at just spreading the map out. and making sure that RNG can't really find those 5v5 team fights. It's very rare situation that RNG throughout the entire series has even gotten a successful 5v5. They're always pushing the side lanes. They're having them push out even in very risky situations just to force RNG to back at the moment, and they haven't really been punished that much for it. So it's really good coordination on FPX. I think this is exactly the way you want to play against a solid rock like RNG who likes to group up, who likes to go for those 5v5s.
They've been putting TN in the side, and Duobi now joined with him as well. Good split here from FPX. And RNG still looking for that said fight with vision control, meaning that FPX, as soon as they clear this, there would be some congestion, but they have to back it sometime, and FPX are able to push out the wave, delay this game even further. So interesting to see that FPX still waiting for that one moment at 29 minutes in.
I like how FPX are forcing the issue in the terrain that favors them. They're actually foregoing their own jungle and saying, you know what, we can group up in mid lane. We know that this fight is going to be very risky for RNG to take at this point. There's too many flank angles that we can throw at them, and honestly, we have the burst potential to pick out a lot of these members. Syndra is on the plate, Amazing J is on the plate. So FPX have done this twice already in their games where they try to draw out RNG into the mid side.
Well, RNG tried to draw them to the top side because that's a big wave pushing on the inhibitor turret. And now into the pit, FPX know that RNG were doing Baron the flash there from Gimgoon into the fray. Ming finds a 3-man knockup. LWX is still alive, however, with Gimgoon right in the front. Dulmy so tanky as well. Xiaohu looks for the burst but can't find it. That's scout of the week. Xiaohu again. This game, on game 3, FPX are getting disintegrated. Dulmy's dropped as well. TN is next. FPX, I think the Phoenix has just been destroyed.
And the Phoenix goes back into the incubator at this point.
Clement, they've done it. RNG have done it. FPX undefeated after coming through Invictus Gaming. FPX undefeated after finding Suning, but in 3 games against Royal Never Give Up, FunPlus Phoenix, finally the Phoenix rises only to be burnt itself by Royal Never Give Up, who are right back on top.
RNG stand over the cinders of FPX. Invictus Gaming couldn't take them down, the World Champions couldn't take them down. They looked like they were flawless. They looked like they didn't have a single weakness on the team. But this time around, RNG show you how to take a deity down. I love what they did against Doinby. They shut him down so many times. They forced him onto champion picks that had less effectiveness, and they showed up massively in the team fights.
How many times do you see Ming with a 3-man knockup with a beautiful engage? Too many. Alistar is a champion that cannot go over, and the crowd are ecstatic.
So well played by both teams in the final team fighting moments. You could see that Doinby had his way into the back line. He found that 3-man he was looking for, but RNG had an even better response. Syndra cutting off the entire ramp, not allowing LWX to follow up onto his front line, and he gets a beautiful scatter of the week to knock down 3 members just as the Varus pops out of the Devourer.
Yeah.
That was perfect timing from Xiaohu to finish the fight.
So many times in that game, he hit that perfect timing window as well. Now RNG, if there were any doubters, it's been shown here against FPX where their strengths lie. The mid-game in Game 1 to the recovery in Game 2. They were never really at a deficit in that Game 2, but they've recovered mentally here in the series. And a 2-1 over the leading champs here at the moment.
Can I just
say,
undefeated. RNG are back. RNG are really back. They've been sleeping for a while. Pre-Chinese New Year, no Uzi. Nobody really thinks of them as a strong playoff team. They're sliding all the way beyond 10th place, but they came back with the roar after Chinese New Year. Now this is, in their recent 10 games, they've only dropped 2 of them, and taking this 3 of them, sorry, but taking this massive win over FPX really cements themselves once more as the kings of the league.
Also playing a lot around Xiaohu, a different style of RNG, and I think it was Doomby in there that said in our little face-to-face chat, they're playing around Uzi again, right? They're playing around Uzi. You look at that game and you go, yeah, playing a lot around Xiaohu.
Yeah.
Playing a lot around the mid lane of RNG.
This is a new level of cooperation between Xiaohu and Carson. I think that's the thing that we're really quite impressed about. In the previous splits, I actually felt MLXG had better synergy between the two junglers, and a lot of times you felt like there was probably a little bit of a desynchronization, and at Worlds they didn't really go for this strategy where they were trying to shut down the enemy in mid lane. It was more about just the tanks, the utility picks, but this time it's different. This time Karsa and Shahu, they're working like they are on the same mind.
That's right. It's a crushing blow for FunPlus Phoenix, but such a good delivery here from Royal Never Give Up. Clement, there is one thing before we finish up and before we go to our next series. FPX, are they going to playoffs?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Well, come on, that's
but
too easy.
RNG probably aren't too. IG V5 coming up right next. The action does not stop here in the LPL. We'll be right back. After joining that party of RNG and FPX, we bring you to another one. This one might not be as calm, ladies and gentlemen, but it's IG and V5. My name's Jake Asteric Sosipenko. This is Clement Chu. Another series awaits us in the LPL. This one might not be match of the week, but let me tell you one thing. With a Jinnu Riven, it could be.
The Riven one tricks face off against each other. I think that's the highlight of the matchup. The Shy was previously a Riven streamer back in Korea, and same thing for Jinnu actually. He's been very well known as a Riven one trick. The Immortal Sword is his nickname. So basically it's Riven 1.0 versus Riven 2.0.
Oh yeah. The experience of these top laners is big, Clement. I want to also point out a LeBlanc we're seeing. We're seeing a Ryze matchup. Like, V5 look like they have a very detailed composition here.
They have a composition where it's true to their original style. They have counters in both of their solo lanes, and their bot lane is a very strong lane as well. So V5 typically, the way they play is they want to go in early. They want to go in hard. We haven't really seen a lot of finesse in the mid and later phases of the game, but the laning phase they have on lockdown, and this is really bringing that to the test against the laning kings in Invictus Gaming.
Very surprised considering we have another Rek'Sai tonight from Ning. I mean, that's a bit of a doozy. We are going to be jumping straight into this one in full. You're looking at the Riven in the top lane. The Shy has Aatrox again, which he absolutely dominated on against FPX in one of his games. But it is the Shy starting here for Invictus Gaming. Remember, there's been a new tune for IG. As we're back in Hongqiao, let's see how the audience fares here as we jump into another hot LPL game tonight. A much calmer man. All right. I feel like the Chinese crowd just worked out that they could say, oh, hang on, you know what we should do? SKT or Rogue Warriors.
Nah, that's too obvious. Let's go for LGD. That's what they
LGD.
always go for.
Yeah.
Like today, all the chants have been for LGD. they're a fan favorite.
Of course they are. This is different. It's different because I see flashy colors. It's not often that we get a bright young mix of all four trees there on IG.
Pretty rare indeed. I'm really curious on how the topside matchup is going to work out. I do suspect the Riven should have the upper hand in this fight. I think her ability to reposition is far more mobile than Aatrox, and with that mobility, you can dodge out on the Infernal Chains, you can dodge out on the Q3 quite easily. So I actually think this is a counter matchup where Riven should have a very good time in lane, and I want to see her use it.
Jinu's been playing Riven more than anyone else in the league. If you haven't tuned into Jinu's Riven, let me tell you that it is all but one game of a loss. So there's like 4 wins, 1 loss if I'm not mistaken. A very high KDA that I believe was almost reset in the last game, but still very high at that, and he likes to take inspiration with Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight.
So just going for the more cost-efficient build. Ben4 was spotted out by the Rek'Sai Sonar, so Rookie able to dodge out on that quite easily.
Super hard to gank a LeBlanc, as we know. Rookie picking up the LeBlanc into the Rise. Korn definitely has the funner of the matchups.
But the bot side should be quite close or quiet.
Well,
Never mind.
No, Clever, no, that's not quiet. Y4 actually just sends an Ardent Blaze into minion wave. Mid lane is not quiet either. Korn does get the favorable trade, of course, into the LeBlanc. What were you saying about quiet? Hang on. Oh, what about the top lane? Jinu tries to flippity-floppity out of there. And the Shy says, get back here.
How does the Shy land that Infernal Chains with the amount of mobility the Riven has? He's been able to find the wave push. Of course, Jinu did help out with the leash earlier on, and he's been using the range advantage so well.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's the Shy. Makes perfect sense. The Aatrox has been one of his stock standard this split when he's been coming in. Very early time to look at the gold because we are looking at the Rek'Sai there. Ning a couple of CS ahead in the jungle. And another unique pick here from Ning is what we didn't get to mention there in our mini champ select.
I believe this is his 12th jungle champion played. Ning has
Really?
Ning has played a lot of champions, from the Karthus to the Zac to his Kayn. I believe he has the most jungler champions played in his position.
Wow. Is the do and be of the jungle.
Pretty much.
With unique champions comes the authority that you might find. But Rode has found himself Baolan. The support might die here. Ben4's here as well. There's no way he's getting out. First blood to V5. Right on track.
Good stop from Rode there to block out on the body, the E coming in from Gragas. Pretty easy kill on their end, and Jinu definitely suspects something. He sees the 4-rows.
Good chance of a return gank here from Ning, but unable to get in the lane as Jinu just perfect timing. Able to heal back up as well, but use the teleport. So Jinu without a summoner. Excuse me, it will be the longsword picked up after base. Now, can he get this 1v1? Well, the Shy says no again, which is super, super rough.
Yeah, the Shy has just been tagging all of his abilities. Like, I was suspecting that maybe the mobility from Riven would be able to counteract the skill shot centric combo nature of Aatrox, but it doesn't look like the case. What it seems like is the Shy has been able to use his range advantage so well that every time Jinwoo tries to get close to him, he's taking the Q1, Q2 before he even really gets close.
Yeah. As well as Jinwoo being unique in his Riven pick, I guess we could say that, you know, for Ben 4, he's been playing a lot of heavy engaged junglers. It actually looks like a steal away from Baolan that he takes the Gragas that Ben 4 is so accustomed to in that jungle. So it's actually some smart drafting here from IG as always.
I like how this team, both of these teams, have basically no tanks. This is just an all-in, let's see who wins lane, solo queue style game.
Speak of the devil. I mean, Rookie really wants to take down Korn, really wants to burst him out of this lane. It's so hard right now. Whoever hits level 6 first wins. Just going to say that right now.
The Shy's a lot closer.
If Jinwoo's in this lane with level 6, he'll go for it. The Shy hits 6 first, Jinwoo hasn't hit it just yet. The Shy's like, all right, you're here too long, Riven. Hui, Infernal Chains meant death there, as Jinwoo has now just hit 6 himself.
The Shy playing this is just so beautiful. The way he's comboing his abilities off, really leaving no gaps for Jinwoo to react quick enough, even land a lot of the Infernal Chains, which I don't even think he's supposed to.
Yeah.
And we really haven't seen a key burst from Jinwoo ever land onto the Aatrox.
Really rough as well, considering that, you know, still you technically have the range advantage. This is Jackie Love all the way out in this bottom lane. Road and Rifle doing exactly what the lane is meant to do, but Jackie Love still no CS discrepancy. Oh no. Do it. The Shy onto Jinwoo again. It lands. The chain. Oh. Jinwoo 1v1. The Shy just says, Jinwoo get out of lane as Ning roams to the mid lane. Korn's been ignited and he'll go down before getting into the Realm Warp. IG winning across the map, really.
Rookie doesn't even need a second chain. The first one enough with the burst damage coming out from Ning. And this is what happens when you challenge the
Jinwoo
the
just got back
themselves.
to lane. Jinwoo literally just walked back to lane. Doesn't have to teleport. Misses out on half a wave, but because it's a Riven, should be fine. Bottom lane is still as spicy as ever, and is the only lane right now that V5 can consolidate in.
The thing I love about watching the Shy play is it's basically solo queue tactics perfected. First off, let's watch Korn. Goes in, lands the Rune Prison, but Rookie also hits the chains, and pretty easy takedown overall.
Yeah.
Big thing to note is that Rookie still holds on to his flash, so repeat gank, definitely a viability in the mid lane.
Ning is nowhere near this dragon though, so while V5 are trying to trade up, this will be a good way to start. And a Mountain Drake nice and early. Let's roll that dice once again. And we'll see an Ocean Drake coming forward, so not the worst thing here for V5, especially with the way top lane's going. Let's get that Ocean Drake. There you go, there's your key burst, Clement. But Jinwoo lost that trade very heavily.
We have to remember, Jinwoo must have felt comfortable in this matchup. He last picked the Riven as the very last champion on the red side, and Aatrox was the first pick.
Yeah.
So Jinwoo was going into this matchup saying, you know what, Riven is supposed to win out here. There's no reason not to pick a counter pick in that situation. But the Shy, I think, has been surprising Jinwoo with the ability to play the pick.
Surprising Jinwoo, but not surprising us. He is 500 gold ahead in this lane when there has been no kill, just the CS. Look at it grow. Look at the CS that's being denied. Jinwoo still doesn't have teleport or walk back to lane. The Shy can just stay here forever. This is part of the issue against playing against the top laner in the world. Best top laner in the world, sorry.
Yeah, it must feel pretty shocking for Jinwoo, because Riven is his best champion as well. He has had a lot of confidence on it.
Yeah.
It's something he's played for so many hours.
Road trying to make the appearance in the bottom lane. No level 6 there for the support, but the flash is there. Road, good execution, giving Y4 the kill as well.
Too clean. Welcome back to the LPL Road. It's been a while since we've seen him. Sat the bench behind Lei for a long time, but the roamer is back. We know exactly what to expect from a player like Road.
Yep.
He's basically like having a mailman as a father. You don't really expect to see him for breakfast. Like, he's always off somewhere else, and then he comes back into lane. But when he does pick his moments, he can make a lot of like action happen around.
Yeah, but much like the mailman as well, he's got a busy schedule at the moment. Busy lanes here, mid and top. hard to babysit. So for now, sticking here with Y4, has the mobility boots to continue that roam. Exactly right. But Y4 in a very good position here as the Lucian. And I guess we didn't get to have a chat about how Road has come in for one of his first games. I believe he did play a series earlier on in the split. But Lei has just been absolutely dominating in that bottom lane. Lei's been very consistent, is probably a better way to put it, as V5 has slumped in the past couple of weeks. So a change of pace here feels like the natural term, or the natural way of thinking for the V5 support stuff.
Yep, for V5, the main thing that hasn't really been working for them has actually been the mid and jungle. Not necessarily the bot lane from Road. Now, Lei spent a lot of time on RNG, 4 years on that squad, but maybe they're looking to spice things up with these roams, and this is what Rome is always known for.
We knew he was going to do this. Ben falls in as well. Rifthold is secured by IG, but can Ning get there? B4 collapsed as a 4-man unit, and 100 gold, but
Jackalov's here as well.
Everyone else coming in. Baolan is going to walk up, and Ning does take it. Well, Korn in. No, he's in so much trouble. Just knocked up. Gone. The Shy even joins the fight. Bedfall's like, how do I get out of this? But what a collapse from IG. Ignite's down. Ulti's out as well from Ning. And V5 is stuck under this turret.
They're not even going to have that turret much longer. That turret is within HP range of a single headbutt.
And it's coming from the other way, Clement.
This is brutal.
Ultimate pop there from the Shy. Rift Herald's in, Ning's out. The collapse comes down. V5, Y4 tries to outplay. He almost does underneath the turret. This is okay. Jackalov the target as the Jinu Riven finds one. The Shy forces the flash out of him, and Rookie does find one again. Jinu underneath the minions is just taking them all. IG are playing with their food. The Shy walking up. What a flash. The complete stop there from IG in the end. It took a while to get there.
Wasn't as clean as I was expecting, but still gets the job done in the end. It's just watching a bunch of people getting corralled and slaughtered in that situation. But Y4 made a really good fight of it. So did Jinu. So I want to watch how this transpires. The Shy actually starts with the World Ender just to tank it up. Y4 forces out Ning very early on from the fight. And the Shy and Baolan aren't able to keep Jinu away from Jackalov in the moment. Still, however, the position on the map is just too bad for V5. They have no way to get out of the situation, and the Shy with the monster flash into the Q2, excuse me.
That was insane. The Shy has been dominating lane. Now in the fights, he's starting to dominate them as well. Bottom lane still great for V5, but you saw there, even with Jackalov going down, it just wasn't enough. Top laners have transitioned to the mid lane. Just changing up lanes completely, and both of them very relevant here, but Jinu can be dove still.
Is already 2 levels behind, 20 CS down.
The Shy's just sitting in front of him, he's so cheeky.
We're going to see a lot of assassination plays and a lot of one-shots incoming. I still remember the monster game Ray had on his Aatrox. I feel like the Shy is going to put up a competing performance.
Well, Clement, I'm also going to see one-shots from Rookie. That's a 4-0 LeBlanc after that fight. And if Korn thought he got the best matchup available into the LeBlanc, he will think twice after Rookie shows him what LeBlanc will do with the lead.
Right, so Jinu going aggressive. Still can't find anything on the Shy. Very good on dodging out.
There's a big flying cicada, whatever this thing is, burrowing into the deep. Ning gets the Tremor Sense, knows that Korn's coming in here as well. 3 versus 3, who wins this? Korn bursts out Rookie a little bit, but still available is the Shy. The ultimate's going to be popped here from Jinu. I feel like the Shy, even without World Ender, which is now available anyway, Jinu bit off way too much. 1v1, thank you for another solo kill. The Shy still had ulti. He was always going to win that, but Ning has found Road in the mid lane. Ben 4 is burning down as well. And in comes Rocky, just bursts down. Ning ultis in. Y4 trying to recover the fight, Clement. But V5 are getting slaughtered at 14 minutes.
Well, this is a game V5 signed up for. That's all I have to say. This is exactly the game he signed up for. Try to win all on the laning phases. All in on that.
Y4 wants to 1v2 as well. And I'll tell you what, he can.
He actually can. Y4 is the only shining spot on the V5 currently. I like how they try to fight up against the bot lane, which has been kind of the weaker side for Invictus Gaming.
Oh my.
That was disgusting to watch. I want to see how Korn falls down. Do they actually find him on the end?
Big old divey do.
Ning He's looking for it. Goes in. Ben 4 can't dodge out. Doesn't have the EQ combo.
Or did not die, Clement. But that's all right. There was a lot of death. It's hard to get mixed up here. Sure as no, I have been. Y4 starting the death on V5. Rookie definitely finishing it off. Look at the Shy. Hungry for blood.
26 KDA was the number for Ray's performance. Actually 25. Yeah, 25 KDA was the number for Ray's Aatrox.
Oh, in his 2-game series?
No, only in 1 game.
Oh,
he got that in 1 single
game.
game.
Oh, that's right. He was like 13, 0, and 12 or something, right?
He was soloing people left and right. It was pretty much a breeze for him in the showcase of how terrifying Aatrox can be when well fed.
9.2 Aatrox, guys. Don't forget. 9.2 Aatrox. We all remember. So glad we don't see Urgot. Even though it is still great, but I'm glad teams are banning it out. It is just a horrible champion. But we still see the Aatrox full powered, full throttle, as IG will be if they can find that Infernal as well. Ocean over to them. Gold lead at 4,000 in the game. And item already there for Rookie. Wait for the next one. Wait for the Magi's, I say. As Y4 actually challenging onto Jackalove. There's a culling explosive cask out. Ulti for ulti is the trade. Jackalove not having the greatest time this game.
Y4 just trying so hard to dig themselves out of this situation. He had a great laning phase, the early game going down. Can you actually find something here? Nope.
Rookie just auto-attacks him.
And I want to talk a little bit about the sore points for both of these teams so far.
Yeah.
On V5, it actually has been Corn. Lowest gold lead at 15. I think someone's going to die here.
Jinu, run! Impossible.
You know what? I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the game. This is a play-by-play heaven.
Clement.
Yeah?
Before this game, Jinu was 15, 4, and 23. Now, 1 and 3 in this game alone. The Riven KDA is dropping fast, and it's because of players like Rookie, who's just under turret, being a nuisance. He's the mosquito that is in your ear at 2 AM in the morning. It's a buzzing. And Y4 does not have a mosquito coil. He has to deal with it.
Sell the Riven stock when you can. It's dropping like flies. A great outplay.
Oh, good dodge from Y4. Thumbs up from Road. But who's really winning at this point? I can tell you it's IG for sure. Ning dives in. Everyone wants him. Not sure what Ning was doing there. I'm not even sure what's going to happen next because IG, their jungler, absolutely kamikaze.
IG, they still want more. They have the World Ender.
Oh, wow.
Onto the Shy. They're still willing to go.
All right, IG, let's keep it going. Ning's up at 15. V5 are going to back away from this turret. IG still want it. Oh, yes. Look at this, the ward's there. Rookie's like, I don't care. I don't care, I'm still in. Look, the bait, and IG just turn it around. It looks so easy. Oh, Rookie, you devil. You knew he was just going to bait them into a false sense of security. We found the LeBlanc. We found the LeBlanc. And then IG found them.
We got Rookie, boys. We can use our crowd control. This is the most one-sided game I've seen in a while. I'd say the second most one-sided game, since Ning is still trying to keep it there.
Yeah, he can't keep it together. There's no way Ben 4 can keep it together. Inhibitor's going to go down. At this point, IG just showing you why. I mean, there's such a big discussion to come with this as to we still don't know who we think is going to represent at MSI. We've got so many good teams to split. IG, one of them, of course, still in form. Rookie's having a ball. The Shy's having a ball. Ning's having too much of a ball. And Jackalove doesn't even know what the ball is because he's just stuck in the back line.
IG have been putting a very good ballot forward. Like, this is one of the most brutal snowball games that we've seen the entire split.
Yeah.
They haven't really lost a fight on the top side.
Oh, we get the camera angle for this one as well. Ready?
The observers are having fun with it. Jinu, you know, lands, gets attacked by the chain, double distort, ignite. And watch this again. Rookie just having fun. Oh.
No! Y4 just pursuits forward. He's like, yes, double shot. And even Rhodes caught out. There's the flash. Foullands coming in. Big fat belly slap. Ning adds one to the kills. He doesn't want to end 2, 2, and 3. I'll tell you that now. Look at the Shy. He's hunting as well.
Run, Jinu, run!
Now
he knows that he's caught out here.
Riven has more speed than Aatrox. But the thing is, the Shy's not going to stop. And Jinu will still get out.
I love LPL.
Yeah, we literally went from, I think, one of the hypest matches I've casted to still a very dominant match. And to be fair, V5, they're expected to be in the middle of the pack as we just see more fighting. Y4 can't play the game. Jinu can't play the game. Just gets slapped in from Jackie Love. And I think this could just be over.
Very well could be. 23 kills already, and 3:20 minute already at the Nexus Towers.
Oh, a quick ender, 20 minutes into the game. It's not our fastest game of the LPL, but it looks like one of our more dominant ones. Saving the day. V5 trying to delay the game as the Shy has teleport. The wave's going to crash in. We're going to see teleport used to try and close out game one. First Nexus Tower going to drop down. Rookies into the backline onto Y4. And Invictus Gaming showing us why they are the top team. Showing us why. As the Shy and Rookie are having a field day. Good ultimate there Rookie from Road. They do find a pick there. The Shy should drop down, but realistically, Willie, even Jackie Love gets a kill. Korn chasing up Ben4 there as well. Cataclysm is down, but Ben4 is not that tanky. Balan's just a support. And V5 successfully defend the game, but how long?
Their Nexus is actually getting hit up right now by the super minions. They have to go back and defend.
They're going to get back in time. There's not enough super minions there, but the side lane is pushing it as well. And V5, I mean, Clement, this gives us time. I don't know how much. We can have a bit of a, yarn about how V5 started the split and how V5 are kind of going now.
I don't think we're going to have the time.
You
Sorry.
don't reckon? No, we're not.
Nope.
Oh my God. Leave him alone.
I pity Y4. He's like, you know what? My lane went okay. My lane did okay.
I tried to carry.
I did
and
my
this is what I
job.
get paid with. This is a solo queue game that you do so well. You're proud of your performance.
Look at Y4
Yeah,
right
he's like,
now.
nah.
He's like, he's sipping on his tea, thinking about
I
his
hope there's
life.
something stronger than tea in there, Clement. Because after this, you are going to need an absolute cure.
I want to see if he actually takes his hands back onto the keyboard when he comes out of the fountain.
He looks
All right, he
so
does.
upset.
He's picking it back up.
This is truly the game where you play so well and you go, I did so good in this game. And you look at the rest of your map, you're like, oh, we're 3 and 15. Like, what happened? I haven't been paying attention.
I know that sigh, man. I've sighed that way so many times before.
Jackie Love doesn't even have a look on his face. It was just so clinical here. Had a rough early game, but V5 going to take the engage, find the Shy. He can't ultimate in time, but Rookie has already found Jinu, top laner for top laner, but V5 on their last legs underneath this Nexus. Road here as well, culling into Jackie Love. They will almost find him. V5 successfully defend. IG can't end. This is insane. Oh no, that's a Realm Warp. Who's in it? It's Road. Peekaboo. Oh God. Y4 flashes forward, still trying to carry, but has he gone too far? Rookie's found him. Y4 gets bopped. And that is so rough. Look at Y4 again. He's biting his lip. Korn going to get jumped back in on. Rookie does go down to Korn, and now this has gone from a dominant game from IG to a fiesta. This is a Mexican fiesta. There's food everywhere, and people are enjoying it.
You know who's not enjoying it? Y4.
Y4.
Oh boy. I think it's almost cruel at this point on how long they're keeping the camera on him.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. I feel you, man. But IG, they're having a great time. They're not finishing the game as clean as possible. Honestly, if the Shy just waited for the world ender.
Yeah, it should have been over in like 22 minutes.
Over.
Look at Korn face checking.
Like,
why are you here, Korn? Leave! There's an Infernal Dragon now onto IG. Korn might have to flash, but he doesn't have it. Worth a shot, I guess.
Okay, this should be the game ender.
Okay, Clement.
It should definitely be the game ender. Y4, everyone's rooting for you. How many guys can you take down? It's Y4 against the world.
Jinu is 2 and 6, by the way. That KDA is absolutely buggered. There's 2-item Riven. Let's go. Get a 4-man stun. You're good. True Shot Barrage in. There's nothing here. The Shy just ults straight away. Ben4 escapes. Can we hit the Nexus? Jinu now running for his life, trying to waste time. Rookie says none of that. You are going down here. Rek'Sai ultimate as well. Jinu does die in the end from Ning. The ultimate comes into the mid lane and Rookie is just there to play with his food again. Invictus Gaming, it was still a dominant game as Road. Can't even survive with Unbreakable Will. Korn has survived just in time to see the game end. And if there was any doubt about Invictus Gaming, as much as they're monkeying around, I'm sure game 1 will silence it, and V5 go back to the drawing board, and I hope it's a big one.
That's such a morale crasher from V5. I was very suspect on the strategy they had. It was all inning on the laning phase, strong lanes across the board, triple counter lanes basically where they should have won. But in the end, only one lane came out on that promise, and that was Y4 in the bot lane. He held his own. He had that early gank. He punished Jackie Love. But when he got out of that laning phase, the game was already over.
The game was over as soon as and it's rough. You're a Lucian. You can't carry 4 other people. You can try, but as soon as that clock gets out of your favor, you're in a rough situation. And no surprise here that Rookie did 25k damage in that short game.
This game is one where I feel like the gist of this game is just the microcosm of how you play Aatrox into the Riven.
Yeah. I'm sure Jinu will not want to play the Riven into the Aatrox again.
Like, the Shy timed everything so well. He uses range advantage to first force out the Valor coming in from Riven, and then he tags him with the Infernal Chains, drags him back, gets the Q2 onto it. He basically won all of those trades. I didn't see a situation where Jinu was out-trading the Shy that entire game.
I mean, Rookie got 1 kill as well, just to move to the mid lane. Rookie got 1 kill with the help of Ning, and then from there, Rookie moved, and there was a big fight. And V5 got collapsed on, and from there it was literally it. Like, I haven't seen a snowball that hard in a very long time. We saw snowballs in you know, RNG and FPX, but it was slow, it was progressive. That's when you're like, holy moly, this solo ladder is doing very well.
The brutal thing is, IG even dangled the win in front of V5 so many times.
When?
It wasn't a clean game. Like when Rookie was on the left side of the second tower mid laner.
All right.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I'm coming in.
I mean,
you guys want to stop me?
That was a dangle. That was sure, you know, that was sure a dangle from Rookie. Baited the mid. Some fun mind games there. A fun game in game number 1 from IG. Pretty dominant stuff. We'll see what happens in game number 2. what a big change in mood. Game 1 of IG and V5. IG just walked through V5. And of course, Rookie there had a very successful game. He was your MVP to absolutely no surprise whatsoever, Clement.
Just too much of a snowball earlier on. Finishes the game with 10 kills. And just for a little bit of trivia, that was the most kills a team has gotten in the LPL so far. 30-kill game.
Oh
Absolutely wiping the floor with V5. The world champs.
What a cheeky grin. I mean, that's what Rookie was doing. He got that 10th kill. He's like, yeah, I did. You're looking into those eyes.
He's looking proud about himself.
You know what he's doing. IG will be on red side for this game. We're going to pick ban. And this is what's been chosen up. Most notably, you see a Vayne there for V5. But the other most notable thing as well, V5 have subbed in Pepper.
So Pepper goes a bit harder in the early game to get those kills, and that's how you can kind of shut down Invictus Gaming. If you can have one lane put behind, if you can have a negative snowball into the Shy. What I was laughing about in this draft is, you know, once again, Jinu got that last pick against the Shy, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to take Vladimir.
The Shy's on Urgot. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
You saw. I know you saw the Aatrox, and I was like,
yeah, the Aatrox is going into the jungle position.
You could imagine.
You're right.
I mean, still, big on Aatrox. Has he played Aatrox yet? He probably has. He's already played 12 champions, so he's got a massive champion pool. And into this game, you know, we'll see what happens, because game number 1, we need a refresher. We need to see V5 turn on, because IG absolutely bear slapped them in game 2. Game 1, rather. Let's run into game 2. Still in Shanghai. Oh my god, what's that action top? Stop it. Stop the visuals.
I see an aftershock.
I don't care about the crowd. I'm sorry, crowd. We're busy. What happened? No! Yeah, R is right. What the heck just happened?
That was the Chinese casters coming in through the microphones.
Man, there is surprise from all of us. The
V5,
Shy got
this
first
is not going to
blood.
work. This is not going to work. You might hand over more kills.
Nah, he's all right. I think the Jackie Love will probably just... No, he doesn't even need to flash. Gets a quick trade off. Y4 does burn him to half, so Y4 again. Doing good. Y4 and Bro.
Good job, Y4.
But now Y4's on a carry champion. We're going to look at the bottom left-hand corner and see what happens, Clement.
So this is the most typical play onto the top side we've been seeing. Top laners cannot walk into that brush anymore. That's a death breath.
Great hook. Really great hook as well from Balan. Yeah, do not go to that. Do not go. So
we've been seeing it in the LCK already, and it's been happening up so often in the LPL. As long as you have crowd control, you place the crowd control from the top side to shut it off. Ooh, Y4.
Yeah, Y4.
Is he
going to die? Heals there. Flash from Road. Ignites down. I don't think Jackie Love dies, but he's still in. Y4 gets the kill, or rather Road does. The bottom lane again. Here we go.
Picking on where Invictus Gaming is the weakest. Now this split, the bot lane from IG actually has the most lane deaths of any bottom lane. Jackie Love and Balan have been playing it pretty fast and loose, to be honest. A lot of ganks happening in their lane, and a lot of times they're not surviving the circumstances. Y4 putting his foot forward to carry his team.
Road just comes in with the instant flash pulverize ignite as well. So you have an option now for V5 as Pepper comes to the top lane. Shy had first blood, but is it going to make a difference? We're about to find out. Pepper lands Sonic Wave resonating strike. The flash is there. Pepper joins him as well. But we'll just burn him and get out.
It's always important to look at the laning situation. Does Jinu have a freeze in towards the top side? Actually, looks like the minion wave is pushing out, so the Shy, even though that first gank took out his flash, is not going to get punished too hard for it.
Yeah, that's right. Able to push back out very swiftly as well. Able to put a ward down, which will give him a lot more information. See, Rookie was pushing out as well. For some reason, we're watching this in the bottom left corner.
You know why? There's too much action happening in this game.
They're scared.
Yeah, they're like, you know, we can't go into a full screen replay.
What?
That flash-in was so good.
But Jackie Love flashed to the left. Why was that?
He did.
What happened? You know, just walk away, Jackie Love.
I think he wanted to trade the auto attack back. So,
but what is it? I mean,
like once the auto attack comes out from Y4, you're too late anyway. Like once the auto attack's already in the air, you're dead.
He tried to dodge the auto attack.
He's not trying to dodge it. He's trying to trade the auto attack
Dodge
back.
the auto attack. Perfect. Still a very interesting start to the game, and if you have just joined us, you missed game 1, I recommend going back, seeing what happened. It'll only take 20 minutes.
It's a 20-minute game with 43 kills.
25, 26.
Yeah.
Because IG did extend it. It's kind of a testament as well to how IG have been dominating the majority of their games. Their recent loss, however, against FPX, kind of showing the level of FPX and how the new wave of LPL talent is coming in. And it's not even the new wave, really, but the new team structure has been coming in and disrupting the flow.
And the Shy has just been on absolute tear after Chinese New Year. His stats, he's never been behind in gold differential in lane.
Yeah.
He's not been behind in lane a single time, and he's actually averaged plus 20 CS in towards the top side.
He's had such dominant laning phases. Look at this now. He's going to have another one, Clement, because pushed up aggressively, has himself the sort of avarice. What are you? Keep thinking. The blade that hurts Vladimir.
Executioner's call.
Yeah,
I think that's the one. Yeah.
Whatever I said was probably wrong. The Shy almost level 6 as well. Now, against a Vladimir, it's super rough. If you don't have your Senguan pull, we know that Fear Beyond Death is an absolute fear itself. It's getting heated in the mid lane.
So Lee Sin was actually spotted in his current position. We can see Ning trying to collapse onto Pepper. They should have the help from the Shy faster as well, so I don't think Pepper can actually take this here. Yeah,
level behind of Ning. Chains will land onto Pepper, just brought back in, maybe to contest still. The Sonic Wave lands onto Ning, but secured away. There's a 2-level advantage. I'm not sure if this is the right move. Corn. That scatter from Rookie was beautiful. Man, I want to replay just on Rookie. That was perfectly timed again.
It's very well done on his part, but you can see the road effect. It's basically adding a win condition onto the map. You know what? Bot lane, whatever. Let's just try to get something in the other sides.
That's what it was like in game 1. Even playing out. Look at where V5 are. The Shy won't be able to get out of this one, but can he kill Pepper? A bit more damage needed, but locked down with the ultimate from Korn. Quick pick there from V5 as they roam up in a 3-man unit.
Good use of the ultimate, but Pepper is so far behind in the farmer's department. That was actually a pretty tense situation where the Shy was 3 levels up, but they do catch him without the Ignite used.
Ooh, super rough as well because of that level disadvantage. Ning walking into the enemy jungle. Going to spot him out over at Gromp, and this should just be taken away by Ning. Smite there as well. Battleline in the bottom lane going in. Road was on top of Jackie Love, but now changes targets. And still bigger trading here from Y4, surprisingly enough, that the Flay's just going to bring him in. Not sure that was the right move from Battleline, but he tries to re-engage with the Death Sentence. And bottom lane still versatile, volatile, name it what you want. It's still going to explode at some point.
IG just tried to get the minion wave shoving right there. They didn't want to get the trade down was actually not beneficial to them. Y4 already has a sustain.
Oh, the flash from Road again. Battleline flashes immediately. Where's the condemn? Not needed. Y4 takes his kill.
That was not on a ward, but the spider senses from Road tingling, knowing that Battleline was going to back there. And they pick up a very easy kill. Invictus Gaming, their bot lane laning phase has been very suspect of recent.
Yeah.
Jackie Love took a breather a couple of series ago. Happened against LGD.
How dare he?
But after coming back, he's not really been showing improvement. I wonder what's happening for IG's bot lane, and that is that one point of concern I have for the championship team.
Everywhere else of IG is doing well, though. So for this game, this series especially, it might not matter too much, as Pepper just forced off everywhere he goes. Battleline joins us as well, Sonic Wave. So that's just going to time out. Ning's waiting for it. Pepper goes back in. Was it the right call? As Death Sentence does land, more fighting imminent here. Ultimate pop there by Ning. The Dragon goes over to V5, though. With an Ocean in hand, they now want to re-engage, but they find Road first, and V5 just want to disappear.
Really good damage tanking from Invictus Gaming. They put all the damage on Ning. He soaks it up with World's Ender. And at the end of the day, you know, V5, I feel like they get the better trade with getting the Ocean Drake and keeping the top lane, especially the bot lane, ahead. But I really like the way that IG played around with the Aatrox jungle, and I think it's a big reason why Aatrox is seeing a resurgence in the jungle position.
Yep.
He's so deadly in those mid-game team fights. He can go in without a care in the world and soak up so much damage and give you that frontline presence. Now, Jackie Love, he's still sitting on both summoners, but with his track record, I want to know if he can actually survive this.
He can. Thank you, Dark Passage. It's important as well, because that Vayne has a kill already. You do not want a Vayne to snowball as much as Uzi did.
Much better game coming out from V5. They avoid most of the early ganks. The bot lane is still very far ahead. And this time they actually have other options rather than a straight laning win. They have a team composition where they can easily blow up the back line, where Rookie is definitely within reach. So I want to see a bit more from V5. They've been a very chaotic team. I feel like they've been a laning first, and let's just try to get tempo off that, see how far it's going to take us type of a team compositions. But this time around, they actually have some cool usages of flanks, of a team fight composition that looks like it has a potential for being a wombo combo comp.
Very true when you consider that the Vladimirs tonight have been either, well, we've had one. We've had one big Vladimir game from Gimgoon. I was going to say the Vladimir's in the league as well. It has been quite a popular pick and still rising through patches 9.4 and 9.5. LPL soon to be on 9.4, I hear, by a little whisper.
We are skipping straight past patch 9.3.
Got to get there, you know. We do have to. I can't wait for the 80 carries. Honestly, there's a lot of questions and a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, RNG is just going to be the best team with the 80 carry changes." And you know what? I don't disagree. But I think as well, we'll still see, you know, shreds of the Kai'Sa. Still see picks like this. Probably not like the Aatrox and Urgot. But we'll see some big changes. LPL's been very intuitive and very willing to change. Renekton's a very good example of that. So I'm curious to see what we actually get in 9.4.
Now, a lot of the marksman changes actually didn't result in a higher pick rate for the marksmen themselves, but of course we have to talk about the play happening on screen.
Oh yeah, Jinu's Hemo playing the wave. Can he survive? He'll heal just a little bit, but ignites down Jackie Love. That's a weird direction to send it. The Shy's back in. Jackie Love and Kathy and Rain to surprise Jinu.
But it was very well done by Jinu to stall out on the tower trade. You can see on the bot side, this is going to be first break for Y4. The team is also closing out and trying to get him that solo gold in the meantime. Ooh, bad time for Korn to actually be chunked out here. The Herald straight going into the mid lane, I assume.
Yeah, Y4 will still get that opening turret in the bottom lane with first turret gold, but full turret plating here to be taken with Rift Herald. Here it comes. Oh yeah, that feels good.
Yep, 3 turret platings being taken here in the mid lane already, and the push is still going.
Yep, they have to use a teleport just to get back in the mid lane. That's Korn coming in. Turret plating expended anyway, so that's fine from IG. They even get some in the top side of the map too. And things still looking great for Invictus Gaming. You can see here from Rookie threatening out Korn. Korn's half health, he just teleported back in.
Unlucky unlucky Korn. And this is the roughest split that we've seen Korn play. He's currently sitting at 19th in terms of the goal difference at 15 minutes, and he's also having the most deaths in lane by himself. So I think the issue is that he just dies to ganks far too easily for some reason. It looks like they don't have the communication going between V5's jungler and mid lane to at least keep that lane stable. Yeah. And that's really been the downfall of V5. I had personally very high expectations for this team. There were a bunch of veterans, a lot of people who are on RNG, a lot of people who spent time in the LGD club as well, but that experience has not really translated into success for them so far.
Yeah, especially for Korn, when you look at the experience just on him alone. More further to your point, that the Royal Club experience here from Korn was what made him so iconic, and as a mid laner in the LPL has always been someone that we looked at and said, this guy, when does he rise back to power? When does he rise back to fame? And it's never really come back for Korn. It's almost like Imp after his time on Samsung White. So we have a lot of LPL players who are rising up the ladder, but we also have a lot of LPL players that are still trying to get back to form. And this just might not be the split for Korn, but still a little bit early, at least for the year. Maybe not for the split. Road, that's a flash. Hello? Alistar, scout of the week. That's actually dodging away. The headbutt came through, and that was mid-animation for Rookie.
Rookie once again with the perfect scatter of the week. A lot expended for that play, and you can tell how aware Rookie was of that situation.
What? Road just flat. Like, I just got, I don't know, Clement. You know what?
Well, sometimes you gotta go.
Sometimes, you know, gotta do what you gotta do.
That's exactly what I expect out of Road.
Oh,
good position on Jackie Love.
That's actually such a great flank. Balan knocked in. Hema playing on 3 as well. Jackie Love has to get out of there. Balan might just die here, but goes golden last minute. Ning going low as well, expends the World Ender, and IG on the backside of this fight. Early flashes have to be burnt out. Whitefall forces one out of Rookie, but now the front to back here from IG. Flash in from Korn, lands the ultimate down. Fear Beyond Death, however, from the Shy. Jackie Love still on the side, but kicked on back. A scatter the week again from Rookie, but Sonic Wave into Resonating Strike, and Rookie now has to deal with the Alistar. Road is so darn low.
One last
just needs a couple of autos, and Rookie finishes it off. Sonic Wave's in again. Scatter the week from Rookie. What a messy fight.
Rookie doesn't have the mana. If Pepper has a ward, he can jump on this and
no,
finish it off.
Balan's here. Balan is here.
Oh,
Balan is
no.
here.
Oh, he gets
but
it.
He does get it in the end. Pepper drops as well. And
Are
look,
you not entertained?
it was like, yeah, sure. Pepper's like, whatever, man. That was a fight.
Pepper's like, hey, I got my 5 kills.
I got 5 kills, man.
That's good.
That's fine. That was it.
That was intense. You know, Road used that first flash, so they didn't expect the second Hex flash over the wall.
Yeah, that's right. This is purely mind games.
Things work out in the end. Great Comk coming in from V5. This time around, I want to see what happened on the left side. We saw a Rookie pretty low health to start the fight. Infernal, everyone wants to go for this. Oh, watch Road.
This play.
Nobody expects him
They're
to
like,
be there.
oh, Hex Flash. Ballad goes for it just in time.
He cuts off the escape route. Jinu's going inside, and we have another fight happening.
Oh, come on.
Man.
It's in the same place. Let it begin again. Papa Smithy, pull out the yakety sacks because Balan's going to drop first. Ning looking at outplay, but condemned into the wall. Hema Plague almost finishes him off, and so do the Silver Bolts. The burn. Ning survives.
Ooh, that healing potion keeping him there in the game, but the Shy's here as well. He's still waiting for his Fear Beyond Death. I don't think V5 are feeling that confident about this. No Hemo
I don't think
Plague anymore.
anyone's feeling confident, Clement.
But they're still going to go for it. That's
All right.
the beauty of it.
Here we go. Infernal at 1,300. The Glacier Pass there. In goes Korn for the ult. The Ring of Frost locks down. Rookie unleashes power. Scatter the week on 3, but he's still condemned and finished off. Invictus Gaming getting slaughtered, but Jackie Love, for some reason, ults in. Jackie Love, why?
Because he's Jackie Love. Because it's Invictus Gaming. You don't need a why or a reason.
I'm not sure what I'm witnessing here, Clement, but V5 is a gold lead. They're winning the fights, and now they're going to get mid-turret.
I don't know what to say. This is bizarre for Invictus Gaming.
This is a game, isn't it? This is definitely a game.
This is pretty much like a scrim in some senses.
You reckon?
This is like a scrim where each side is trying to push how far they can actually play. Like, how good are we actually mechanically? And we're going to see that in this fight. You know, it was a 5v4 situation to start off already. Balan being taken down straight off of it. And honestly, IG had some very, very bad positions going into the fight. Their jungler was low. They were down a member. They still went for it anyway.
Jackie Love, why? What are you hoping out of that? Even if you get Road, that's not worth it.
I don't know. Like, I feel like, look at Invictus Gaming players. I feel like they're playing in a haze.
I don't know what kind of haze it is, but I tell you what, you cannot see past it. That's for sure.
I don't understand.
Well, look, we got first items across the board for everyone in IG. You got second almost built up. We got a Vladimir again that's absolutely massive in Jinu, level 11 too. And Infernal is up. Baron's up in 3 minutes. That is going to make it even funner. Look at this. Road. Wee. Cheeky little hook there. Ning picks up red now, ready to reposition.
The biggest thing out of that fight was Vladimir basically came all the way back from a deficit in lane to having a 700 gold bounty on himself. So Jackie Love, I don't think he's going to be able to survive this team fight. At this point, I do feel like Invictus Gaming are on very much the back foot. Like, even with all their mechanical outplays, they've just given away too much in these dragon fights at this point.
It's very true. When you have Infernal spawning one after the other as well, it's going to be even harder for Invictus Gaming to make their stand like they are doing now. There's Road. There's also Pepper. Ning just has to disengage. The level disadvantage that was between these junglers and the CS to mix no longer coincides with Ning and Pepper both level 10. This is really rough for Invictus Gaming. You make a couple of mistakes, you're paying for it dearly.
Do you remember the stress test that Invictus Gaming ran once?
I do not.
So there was this one game, like, I believe it was Vici Gaming at the point, and Invictus Gaming, the entire team, brought Gathering Storm.
Okay.
Just to scale it to late game.
Oh my God.
And to see how much damage they could stack. They still won the game in the end, but it felt very much like this game, to be honest.
I'd still say, even with the gold disadvantage as well, you know, are Invictus Gaming stressing too much? Well, they might be. There's Telewalk coming in for the flank. Box is down. Flash immediately from Korn. Wombo again. Hema Plague's down. Invictus Gaming, way too much damage here from Jinu into the back line. Takes on one, almost takes the other. Flashes forward. Jinu's a big boy. And Y4 with the final L wants Rookie, but it's not destined to be. Victory 5, it's 2 more kills, and it's a bigger gold lead.
I think Invictus Gaming wish they had Gathering Storm at this point. There's no way they're going to win any of these current team fights.
It's just going pear-shaped for Invictus Gaming. V5 going to walk up to this inner. Rookie going to walk away from that inner. The Shy just did a side lane. He's trying to get bigger. He's like, boys, I'll carry. But a lot harder now that you're on the Urgot with only one item.
I feel like we found the winning strategy against IG. You let them crush you in game 1. In game 2, game 3, they don't expect
And then you come back,
Yeah.
Good idea.
I'm willing to bet if they lose this game, they're bringing Duke back in. Let's watch this fight. Jinu is very fed at this point. That's the key stat. Hemo Plague on 3, straight onto the carries. Jackie Love ball land. World Ender pop instantly. Very easy chase down happening. A sweet topper on the end.
Yeah, you got a Vladimir who's continuing to skyrocket forward. 20 minutes in the game, Baron's up now as well. Topside vision a priority, it seems. And of course, it's going to be that slimline vision there from IG, but nothing into the Baron pit. The V5 do have that under control currently, but more about thinking about that Infernal that's up in 10 seconds. V5 already have 1.
So the most kills that we've had in a single game in the LPL so far has been 53. The last one reached over 40 kills.
Okay.
So, you know, we have some things to look forward to. I feel like Invictus Gaming, they're actually holding on the brakes. They're not going for the fights anymore.
Yeah. You're like, hey, lads, we're not winning this. After game 1 as well, it's hard when you come into game 2 so confident. And then you go, oh, hang on, we're making mistakes. That's a triple Infernal they're going to have to deal with.
Taking a look at the gold lead, bot lane is the massive sore point. Actually, the Shy is not doing so hot either. 1,500 gold behind on the Urgot. 1,700 gold behind on the Kaisa. And these are champion picks that can't really get you back in the game. There's not a lot of catch potential on this team. I feel like Syndra is just a champion that if you're not ahead, you don't do much later in the game. So IG, they're desperate for win conditions at this point.
Yep. You have a Kaisa, though. And Clement, you know, let's not forget, but the way Jackie Love's playing very strangely, you know, to put it lightly as well. But this second game, in all seriousness, you know, it's been a bit of a fiesta, right? Let's just call it what it is. But
IG are trying to see how far they can push things.
But if this goes to a game 3, let me just tell you one thing, is that it's gonna be serious. It's gonna be serious, because there is no way that under those conditions that IG won't be like, all right, we mucked around, we're gonna play serious, and V5 are like, guys, we have momentum. So everything shapes up in that third game, but definitely have to get there first. If you're V5, you have a 6k gold lead, you have Baron up. Securing that Baron might secure the game.
Yeah, for V5, I would take it super slow. I don't think IG actually have enough damage to even rush the Baron.
They definitely do not. Road, thumbs up.
All right, this is just straight up asking for a team fight. That's how confident they are and how far they are ahead. I don't actually agree with this from V5.
Yeah, there's no vision on it though, however, so V5 still willing to force it. Now vision flopped on down. Redemption's coming in as well. Ning over the side, pops a World Ender very early on. Goes in,
he gets
steals it.
Oh my god!
Oh, Ning set up for success. The ultimate popped onto the back of Korn. Ultimate there.
Kisku goes down.
IG just wanted to make it hard for themselves, Clement. They did, and they cleaned the fight.
Why, V5?
V4, or Y4 rather, picked up the Shy. But Road, the last member alive, ultimate not available for Jackie Love, but Ning is flanking. Ballard's here as well, flayed away, scatter the weak. And Invictus Gaming absolutely creamed them.
I feel so bad for V5. They were doing well up until this moment. But why go for the Baron? Just wait for the simple triple Infernal. You're not going to lose out on that team fight. But contesting a red side Invictus Gaming with the flash up on Ning, Why go for that play? Why make it so
Because
difficult?
you're Invictus bloody gaming. That's why. I'm just seeing this as one whole big ruse in Game 2. And I'm glad the Observer thinks that we should give it another go.
Let's just take a look at this. I want to see how Ning managed to steal it. Road had his flash up already. He should have been trying to zone Ning away from the Baron pit. But Ning pops his World's Enders first.
Ready?
He's waiting for a moment. He goes
you
in.
know
Oh,
he's there.
That's not the way you're supposed
He
to
got
play.
kicked, and so he's just out for free. This
Jinu doesn't
hurts.
even get most of his damage down. This is so painful. I feel like this is a bad lesson for Invictus Gaming.
Yeah? How so? Hang on. We got the Shy crab walking in again. Pepper has to use his kick early this time. BB on death is into Pepper, who gets slowed on down. The Shy still super fast. Jackie Love ults in. Jinu's gone as well. Even Blake did burst out Ning, but doesn't matter because the turret's down in the mid lane. Rookie continues on pushing, and the Baron buff is doing work here as V5 now lose their gold lead completely when it was 6,000 in the lead. They're not even indulging Korn. I don't know if they know he's there or not.
They don't.
Glacial
This is, of
path
course,
in.
Chance.
Korn doesn't take it. He's scared. As you should be.
I'm not sure what to say at this point. I just feel like this game has been, nothing really makes sense. It's all about the team fighting, and I just hope whoever wins out on the next team fight can give us a mechanically excellent performance.
Will it be V5 because Korn is looking for the flank?
Look at how low Ning is.
He doesn't care. He has ult. Thinks he's going to react in time. To find out what the real truth is, flash in from Road.
two-man.
The fight started here from V5, but Korn, look at how our position he is. He can't get anywhere near the fight. Rookie's already taken down Road. Korn goes golden. He's going to die as well. 3 members already killed. I think IG just going to win the game, Clement.
Sad game.
Oh no, BB on death. They just want to kill Y4. They almost had the tools to do so. Inhibitor's going to go down here. 5 versus 3, Clement. Let's see it.
All right, can Jinu pull off the miracle defense? He still has his Hemo Plague.
Yeah, it does get Atlanta 4-man Hemo Plague, but it's really not enough at this point in the game. Invictus Gaming are collapsing over this base, and with Baron minions, let me tell you one thing with certainty. As Y4 gets jumped on by Jackie Love, as Jackie Love survives the turret shot, as the Nexus drops on down, this has been, without a doubt, the most interesting game in League of Legends in the LPL for 2019 that I have seen so far. Invictus Gaming somehow 2-0, somehow all survived, and somehow beat V5 in what was a strange turn of events.
V5 had the chance for a triple Infernal. They were up by over 4,000 gold at that point.
6,000, man.
6,000
Try
gold,
that.
I'm sorry. 6,000 gold. They should have had full control of triple Infernal and just end the game off of that. Instead, they went for a super, super risky Baron straight inside the Vision, and they didn't even try to do a turn onto Invictus Gaming. They were going for a full finish on the Baron. I do not understand, I cannot comprehend the decisions made this game.
The crowd aren't even clapping. They're like, you know what? Yeah, good win. Good win. Game 1 was very decisive. So game 1 is an absolute, that's a clap.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Game 2, that wasn't even a paddling. Like, that, I don't know what that was. But let's state one thing. Invictus Gaming, despite all that, are still up on the leaderboard. And they're still in very good playoff contention.
I almost feel like Invictus Gaming are going to continue to play like that, going further into the matchups
I
that
mean,
they have.
Clement, they can't. They literally can't. They have WE and Vici, sure, but they have RNG still to play. EDG, BLG. They cannot play like that, like they did in Game 2. Look at the swing.
Oh my god. This is so painful to watch. 6.4k, a single team fight brought it all back. Like, it seems to me, V5 does not have a shot caller. They have Rogue with Flash there.
I would agree.
And Alistar doesn't go over the pit to try and stop the Aatrox.
I mean, I thought we talked about it was either Ben 4 or we thought it was Lei. I mean, you
Maybe
wouldn't
it's
take
Lei,
out...
maybe.
If it's Lei, your shot caller's not there, it's Road.
And the last team fight as well was so uncoordinated. The last team fight they had, they actually were not that far behind. I believe it was only 2k behind at that point when they had the last team fight. Korn comes in pretty too early, in a sense, gets zoned out by Rookie, and then they don't even drop the Hemo Plague in that 5v5.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I felt like IG just handed them a game on a silver platter.
And then
V5 were
V5 were like interesting stuff. Either way, like, because there is some severity in this matchup. For V5, they have a pretty easy strength of schedule, which we do talk about a lot in the LPL.
Yes.
But then it goes Suning, EDG, FPX, and even though Suning out performance is still rough matches, at the moment V5 sitting out of playoffs. At the moment they're on at 11th. They're going to drop even more. That is the kind of game you're like, well, we needed to see a game 3, or we needed to see more contention to show us that you can potentially challenge EDG and FPX.
The way the playoffs are shaping up, it's between Sino Dragons, BLG, and then V5. I think it's probably one of these 3 teams that have to contend for the bottom spots. BLG are doing very good now, but have a very, very tough schedule ahead of them. So any single one of these losses is devastating for V5, and it's already past halfway of the split.
It is.
I put them as a playoff team in my preseason predictions.
Yeah?
I regret that.
Okay.
I would like to rescind that.
That's all right. I put Vici near playoffs, man. Like, I don't want to go into that oyster. Let's take a revisit, though, into that game and our favourite moment of it as well, which was the Baron steal by Ning as he just trotted on over and just said, this is going to be my Baron.
So, I'm not sure if Alistar actually has a flash or not, but the decision that V5 need to make is, do they want to actually turn on the fight? And in this situation, I think their goal is to goad IG into the team fight, but instead they actually do a full finish onto the Baron. They never stop on the Baron, and they get it stolen while Jinnu is trying to zone the rest of the team members away. So basically trying to juggle 3 things at the same time and having all 3 of the balls fall on their own face.
1 Baron steal.
Well played, Tail. He's our stats guy. Well played.
1 Baron steal. The best stat. The only stat that's important there. 2 Aatrox games here for Invictus Gaming. Both of them looked... Game 1 looked great from the show.
From IG, they really need to clean up their mid game. I don't know what they've been doing. They've been sleepwalking sometimes in these games where they just continuously take fights they have no business being in. You know when your jungler is on 300 HP and your support's dead and you still go for a Drake fight?
Yeah.
And then you do it again?
And then you go,
straight out the replay.
This time it'll work. I mean, we jumped out of the replay straight away to go to the exact same fight in the exact same position. So that was definitely a game. We get games like that, Clement. We get games which, with top teams like IG, even they have some kind of... It's the ability to play up, isn't it? And for V5, V5 are not a top 8 team at the moment. They're really not. And IG didn't need to play up, so they did it. Game 1 was such a stomp, and they're like, Game 2, we're going to have some fun. And what did they do in Game 2? Well, they had fun.
We're not backing down from any team fights. Everyone's staying here until everyone is
literally
dead.
gave themselves a disadvantage at 6,500 gold, and then came back and said, they're doing Baron. Let's just go steal Baron. We'll win this fight. And then cleaned it out, recovered the gold, and then won the game.
That was a 70-kill series.
That was a ridiculously long series, even though the games were short.
The games were short.
Look, this is the part where we get past that. We look at the standings because now with Invictus Gaming, 2nd. And remember, FPX took a loss to RNG just before, so RNG are up there in the top 5. I'm looking at the top 8 now, and you know what I see? I go, that could be it, because Sino Dragon are playing so well, and we need an 8th. JD is still doing well as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a top 8 that I could say, realistically, that's what I see going into playoffs.
BLG, JD Gaming, Sino Dragons, they're all so close. Only 1 match win separates these teams, and like we were talking about on the schedule, JD does have the upper hand, so I do expect them to be a little bit safer. Suning are the ones that are in deep water. Victory 5 are the ones that I can't figure out what they're doing currently.
I would take a big stab and look at LGD, and I would say that they've got 5 games left to play. That means they can finish on 6. A big call. I feel like LGD can probably not make playoffs. It's not confirmed. Don't trust me because I'm full of baloney sometimes. But I'm I don't think LGD can make it at this point. We will see. Of course, we will confirm that. Do not write that down. Do not quote me. If you clip this, just put it, get the full context of it. But that's an interesting standing set because RNG and IG up where they belong. Not in the top position, though. It's not the 18-1 split we saw before.
Yep.
It is a single round robin. Teams only face each other once because IG took losses to teams we did not expect them to. JD and
LGD.
FPX and LGD. Which even that series, that was exciting. That was exciting. V5 just then, that was different.
And people have to remember, even though it's only a single round robin, the standings in playoffs do matter quite a bit. Because if you're first and second, you go straight into the semifinals. People can't see what you're going to play. You have side selection advantage. If you're third and fourth, then you get a bye into the quarterfinals. You don't have to play through the first round. So those spots are extremely valuable to these teams. And I'm actually quite surprised by the performance from Invictus Gaming. Maybe they're very confident, and maybe they're willing to bet on they can make it happen in playoffs. But Spring Split, very important. It's MSI and Rift Rivals on the line.
That's right.
So you don't really want to be messing around.
We have a long way to go, though. Still only week 7, and anything can happen in the next 3 weeks. Let's have a look at Friday's matchups to confirm my suspicions. Because with TOP and Vici, yes, okay, everyone, I know what you're saying. TOP are a good team. Vici, they think, might not be. I love Vici this split. I have to say, they feel better.
They do feel better. They're not the bottom team that they were in previous years. But TOP, like you said, probably you still give them a little bit more advantage. Knight is the big one we're looking at. I would say he's the best mid laner currently in the LPL.
And EDG are back in form. That is for sure. EDG look great.
6 straight wins from Clearlove. Not a single game dropped since he came back. Ray has been looking fantastic with the synergy between the junglers. And it's just the fact that Clearlove brings so much communication to the game.
EDG always come back towards playoffs. Whether it's in playoffs itself or and that's obviously towards Worlds. As last spring split we saw in the finals, they were defeated by RNG. But EDG always have a habit to move their way into playoffs.
They've done it too many times before. They know what it takes to be a top team. And down the stretch, experience just becomes more and more valuable to these teams. Set plays are more valuable. Understanding pressure is more valuable. So we're seeing a renaissance in terms of the teams from the middle of the pack. I felt like in 2018 there was a very clear-cut race between IG and RNG. Who was going to be that top dog? This split around, it's absolutely crazy. I just don't know.
In 2018, we knew our top, or definitely knew the top 6, and we're like, okay, even there might be interchangeable, but we just know our top dogs that are most likely going to represent. This time, we're not too sure. We'll have a look at Saturday's matches as well. That's when the English broadcast returns for the LPL. JDG and Sino Dragon. That is so good because I am waiting for JDG and Sino Dragon to show us why they're in the top 8. Not that they haven't already, but furthermore against equally skilled teams, in my opinion.
7th and 8th place. The matchup head-to-head is also super important because if they end up on the same scoreline, the one with the advantage does advance to playoff. So this is a potentially playoff deciding match between the Dumpling Brothers and Xiaopeng and Tula.
And after last night, after what we just saw, Rogue Warriors in V5, not going to talk about that. We're going to have to let it talk for itself. Biggest one here, BLG and Suning. Suning have ended their loss streak. And the only reason I said that the top 8 right now looks like it's the playoffs because Suning have not looked good, even against LGD dropping a game. If they can beat BLG, I'm going to say they might be back.
They might be. They just might be. Now, Suning, their current issues is communications-wise, we just don't know what they're doing. SMLZ is roaming on his own. The team's very scattered.
Weiwei's coming in. We've got a difference between Hacker and back to the mid lane, Angel and Maple as well. It's more question marks. Okay, what is the most successful composition or team?
I would say Maple still's got it. We saw his Akali game and the Lissandra game, the 7-0-7 finish, and the game where he actually basically won game 2 on that snipe onto the enemy AD carry, onto Kramer, no less his former teammate, to really secure the game for Suning. So I think their best roster will shape up to be I lean a little bit toward Weiwei. I feel like he has a lot more potential, but most likely Maple is going to be there in the mid lane.
I would love to see the Suning that we saw against even FPX, the Suning that we saw before Chinese New Year. See if that revitalizes them going up against BLG. It is another top 8 matchup. That is coming back on Saturday. That's when the English broadcast joins you again. A big thank you to Clement Chu, who's always been with me and is always going to be with me. Raz will be back sometime soon, but don't worry. Clement's, more important. My name's Jake Seric Penko, and we'll be back on Saturday for the English broadcast. Thank you so much, and good night.